I was once the world's first transcendent, but I was cursed by the gods and vanished for 200 years. Now that I've returned, there is no place for me in this new world. They say I'm just a relic of the past, a product cast aside by time. Little do they know, I've witnessed the maddest and grandest universes. What lies dormant within me is a supreme status that strains the very laws. When I lift my hand against this new world, they'll learn true fear has only just begun. Zhaolin. What's wrong, Zhaolin? Why are you crying? I feel like I had a very long dream. But why can't I remember it? Students, today, we are honored to have Professor Yu Taejo to give a guest lecture. Let's welcome Professor Yu with a round of applause. I'm actually hearing Yu Taejo speak. Oh my God. Is it worth being this excited? Of course it is. Professor Yu took charge in a crisis, leading humanity against the mysterious invasion. He's the man most likely to save the world. If I could meet him just once, I could die happy. Class, at Reinai Hospital in Ningjiang City, a dead coming back to life incident occurred. That hospital is only 5 kilometers from here. Those 5 kilometers are all that separate you from the invasion. Our world is becoming strange. How do we face these changes? Modern occultism is our newest tool. Zhaolin, please wait. Who are you? I'm Qi Hesheng, Professor Yu's assistant. He came here specifically to find you. He wants to talk about that gate. How do you know? A sudden chill exploded in my heart. About a month ago, I encountered the mysterious invasion. My dreams were... Every time I sleep, I dream of a massive stone gate standing in the dark. But I never told anyone about this dream. How did you Taejo know? You must be confused about how I know your dreams, right? If you want to know, you must answer 3 questions. Please, go ahead. First, what do you think is behind the gate? I didn't know how to answer because I'd never thought about it. Just tell me your gut feeling. Something extremely powerful. Something ultimate. Second, do you think a single individual can shape the world or change the course of civilization? I'm an atheist. Then the final question. Do you want to be a superhuman and save the world?
Hearing this,
I couldn't help but think, if it were Yang Qi, he'd be moved to tears by now. But I planned to refuse. My parents formed new families long ago. To survive, I'm like a stray animal in the city, just trying to stay alive. Why ask such an animal to save the world? I've taken so little from this world. Shouldn't the happy ones do this instead? Sorry, Professor. I'm afraid I can't accept. Have you thought about what refusing means? What does it mean? It's like in 1969. You had the chance to be the first astronaut to walk on the moon, but you gave it up. I'd see things others could never imagine. Right? Yes. Professor, you call for me? I heard you've been doing firearms training. Getting used to it? Yeah. It's tiring, but more fun than academic classes. Good, as long as you like it. Unfortunately, training must stop for now. Why? Yesterday, 2 selection members passed superhuman training. Does that mean we can take the next step? No rush. Weren't you curious about how I knew your dreams? I'm listening. For the past 2 years, I've asked this many times, but you always said he'd tell me later. Now the answer is finally revealed. Come, I'll take you somewhere. You know, this is where I actually first saw you. What do you mean? You'll see. Identification successful. Zhaolin, every time you dream, you appear here. I first saw you right here. Of all the superhumans, only you have this talent. Your connection here is tighter than anyone's. And you will be the first to witness what's behind the gate. Remember, this is humanity's first journey to another world. Don't take risks. Even just a glance before coming back is fine. Understand, Xiaolin? When you get back, I'll buy you a whole roasted lamb. I know that's nothing to you now, but don't turn it down. I felt a bit moved. During my training, I stayed in touch with Yang Qi. Besides the professor, he gave me the most encouragement. You're in trouble then. That's gonna cost you. Nervous? I hope behind the gate isn't some extreme environment beyond our logic. Don't worry, we're just taking a peek. If there's danger, we run immediately. Risk is necessary. The whole world is waiting for results. If we fail to deliver, we'll just be replaced. Xiaolin, I know you're a genius who finished training in 3 months. But that doesn't mean you have command skills. I'm from a prestigious family and have done many drills, so I think I should be in command. We'll stick to the plan, and no risks. The first superhuman team takes the first step to break our fate. May science protect you. What is that thing? Xiaolin, we're going to go extinct, right? After witnessing my teammates' deaths, I had no time to grieve. Only one thought remained. I must tell you, Tejo, immediately. Behind the gate is a graveyard of gods. The gate must be closed, or those parasites will cross it one day and enter this world. I looked up. The white door slid open slowly. The corridor outside was bright and quiet, deserted. Only the low hum of the ventilation system. This silence made me uneasy. Why is no one waiting? No one came to meet me. This shouldn't be happening, but I have no time to think. I dragged my heavy suit through the long corridor and into the elevator. I pressed the button for the office floor. After a long ascent, with a soft ding, the elevator doors slowly slid open, but the expected bustle never came. The usually busy hallway felt like a dream. Dead silent, completely deserted. The only sound was a space ghost story on the radio. Anyone here? I need help. I shouted as loud as I could. My raspy voice echoed down the hall, but it couldn't break the deep silence. Everyone at the institute seemed to be gone. It was as if the whole project was just an April Fool's joke, like they hid after sending me through. Maybe they're somewhere right now, watching my reaction and laughing their heads off. The unease grew even stronger. I walked toward Yu Tejo's office. Yu Tejo was a strange guy. No matter when I opened his door, he was always in his office, sitting behind high stacks of files, like he was part of the furniture. But this time, Yu Tejo wasn't in his seat either. It was empty. Everything was exactly the way it was when I left. Even that niche mythology book he was reading was still sitting on the desk. The only difference was a worn-out notebook placed neatly on the desktop. Its pages were brittle and yellow, like something from the last century. A name was written simply on it. Yu Renqing, the name of the institute's psychiatrist. For some reason, I felt a subtle fear of this object, but I took a deep breath, picked it up anyway, and slowly opened the cover. A sentence was written in heavy strokes. I have recorded the downfall of the institute. March 16, 2025. The first mystic journey failed. The first-gen superhuman vanished in the frost. Lei Xing went missing. The institute rushed to activate the next batch of superhumans. They failed to enter the door. Professor Yu Tejo sent first-gen blood samples all over the world to push for second-gen training. June, second-gen the visitor, Yang Qi, Li Zongyi, Han Jinsheng, and others deployed. They failed to enter the door. August, third attempt failed to enter the door. October, fourth attempt failed. Superhuman powers are decaying by generation. They rejected all of us. July 2028. Superhumans in the real world showed power that shouldn't exist. This didn't match the professor's findings. They began containing mystic events. Back then, everyone thought it'd get better, except for the professor. January 2033. The worst thing happened. Superhumans were sent to the battlefield. World War III began amidst spreading destruction. None of us could escape this hell. Professor said we must focus on our work until the hour the world ends. July 2035. Yan Qi went rogue. He killed Professor Yu Taejo himself, destroyed the institute, and destroyed us. All efforts to save the world. The last sentence. On my deathbed, I cursed this world to die in madness. I stared at those words and felt like I was sinking into a nightmare. I realized I wasn't like Armstrong in 1969, taking a giant leap for mankind. I was lost in my own universe, looking at a home that seemed so close, but one I can never return to. The music's still playing in the institute. Xiaolin, where are you? I'm coming to find you now. It felt like a century had passed, but the clock only moved 30 minutes. I gradually calmed down. I started to think, this isn't as simple as it looks. If I'd really been gone for years, as the notebook said, and the institute was destroyed by Yang Qi, then this place should be in ruins. But it's exactly the same as when I left, like I was only gone for a moment. Just then, I spotted the landline on the desk. It was Yu Taejo's office phone. The power and network lights were on. A thought suddenly hit me. Should I call Yu Taejo? Few people knew his private number, but I happened to be one of them. I didn't know if it would work, but it was better than doing nothing. I hit the speakerphone button and quickly dialed the number. Over the line, there was a long rhythmic ringing. No one answered. I sighed softly, not really disappointed, because I didn't expect it to connect anyway. In a bizarre place like this, it'd be weirder if the call worked. I slowly leaned back in the chair, making a heavy creak. Just then, a distorted familiar voice spoke. Hello, who is this? Didn't I say not to touch my office phone? I shuddered all over, nearly in tears. That was Yu Taejo's voice. I could tell. Professor Yu, it's me. Xiaolin, where are you? I said quickly, Xiaolin, I'm in a meeting right now. What's wrong? Is something up? Hearing that question, the fear and confusion I'd suppressed, and that terrible loneliness rushed back. I desperately wanted to vent it all out, but I clenched my fists and forced myself to stay calm. I didn't know if this line was stable or how long it would last, so the top priority was to pass the info efficiently. I fought back my negative emotions and spoke calmly and firmly. Professor Yu, please believe what I'm about to say. I came out of the stone door. I've traveled decades into the future. I found a diary. It has 3 critical time points. I quickly flipped through the brittle notebook. I read July 2028. Superhumans gain power in reality. January 2033. Superhumans are sent to the battlefield. World War III breaks out. July 2035. The institute is destroyed by Yang Qi. Wait, Xiaolin. Why are you telling me all this? What's going on with you? Yu Taejo sounded anxious. I took a deep breath. Professor, I don't know if I'll make it back alive, but I swear, everything I've said is true. You have to be ready. And about that stone gate, you must do whatever it takes to close it. Behind the gate is where the gods are buried. That world is already polluted. Xiaoli, where are you? I'm coming to find you right now. Don't run off. A sharp electric noise suddenly rang out. It felt like a nail gun went off in my head, fired right next to me. I instinctively pulled the receiver away, curling up tightly. When I finally came to, there was only a dull, busy tone left on the call. I pressed my hand on the desk, redialed the number angrily. But after trying several times, the call still wouldn't go through. I felt a bit relieved. During that short call window, I didn't lose my cool. I made the right call. But then a chill rose up in my heart, and I realized the last link to my past was gone. The office was deathly silent. I felt like I could hear fear and loneliness, squirming slowly. It felt like an invisible hand squeezed my heart. My breathing sped up, and my face turned pale. No, I have to stay calm. I started forcing myself to think. Maybe I didn't travel too far through time. Maybe this world hasn't changed that much. Maybe someone still knows me. I need to relax first. Get some air. I walked over to the window, reached out and pulled the blind's cord. With a faint swish, the blinds turned, revealing the scene outside. But the moment I saw it, a wave of confusion swept over me. The sky outside was a dark, blood-red color. Under the sky, the once city was now a rotting wasteland. Black grime covered all the ruins. Dark red, fleshy threads twisted everywhere through the city, entangling cars and buildings. The wreckage looked like a giant nest. 100-meter warship, wrapped in threads, hung in the sky, swinging gently. In this apocalyptic scene, there was something even scarier. A massive, hundreds of meters long vermilion steel creature. Its shed shell stood still on the ruins, like a warning that this world was nothing like I'd known. The last line in the notebook flashed through my mind. Curse this world to perish in madness. A deafening alarm went off suddenly, snapping me out of it, making my heart tighten. I knew what that meant. Something had broken into the institute. Was it people or something else? I didn't panic for long. I made a split-second decision and headed toward the security room. That's where Sky Eye's security is centered, with full surveillance systems and lethal weapons for emergencies. I entered the password. The security room door slid open in front of me. A whole wall facing the door was filled with hundreds of surveillance screens. The intruders appeared on the screens. They weren't monsters, but humans. 4 men and a woman, all in matching black coats. They were armed, but not holding their weapons. They wandered the institute freely, seemed to be searching without a goal. I took a deep breath. I needed a plan, one that could quickly take out all 5. I turned my head and looked at the weapons cabinet. A row of automatic shotguns lay inside. The guards use these. Holds 12 shells. Fires super fast. About the recoil. My suit is top of the line, with exoskeleton reinforcement inside. It has strong shock absorption. I grabbed a gun, checked the ammo, fitted the choke for tighter spread, watching the monitors, and comparing the institute map. Right now, the 5 haven't split up. I need a long enough hall to ambush them at the end. Hallway number 3. That's where the most traffic usually is. They're most likely to pass through there. It's nearly 30 meters long. That's plenty of depth. 12 shells. Rapid fire. Can shred anything in that hall. I stopped hesitating and rushed to the corner at the end of hallway 3. Pressed my back against the wall. Held my breath and waited. Suddenly I found it funny. I was just wishing someone would talk to me. But now someone's really showed up. And I might have to kill them. Just as I'd expected. Didn't take long. Clear footsteps echoed down hall 3. And voices too. But I didn't show myself yet. Just kept waiting. Let them come closer. So they couldn't escape in time. This is insane. Not only is the buildings outside back to normal, but the inside systems are up too. And the power's still working. The girl in the group spoke. It's like everything just came back to life overnight. Never seen anything like this before, answered the captain up front. What I didn't expect is how advanced this place is. What did they use this for? Someone at the back asked. We should be close. I thought to myself. I suddenly jumped out from the corner, raised my shotgun up, pulled the trigger. Bang, the massive blast echoed down the hallway. Ceiling debris rained down. That was my opening line. Before the 5 could react, I aimed the gun right at them, staring them down in silence. The girl spoke up first. She shrank behind the captain. It's a humanoid monster, and it uses guns. So scary, my archaic anxiety is acting up. He has a perm, thick glasses, hugging a big book. Kinda looks dumb. I paused for a moment and said, I'm human, not a monster. Can speak human language too. Girls are even more scared. I told you already. I'm not a monster. I lifted up my suit visor, showed them my face. Still looked just like a human. The girl's face went pale. I was speechless. I looked at the captain. He looked just as speechless. Suddenly in that moment, me and the guys here shared a subtle understanding. That feeling was just awkward silence. The captain turned back to the girl. Lin Nyanian. If a being looks human, can use tools, speaks human language, and looks exactly like a person. Then what is it? Lin Nyanian tilted her head. Isn't it possible? This person in front of us is a human. The captain sighed helplessly. Makes sense. Lin Nyanian nodded. Then the captain turned to me and said, "Hi. We're the satellite town law enforcement team, sent by the mayor to check out this building that suddenly came back to life. We're not here to fight. If you don't mind, could you tell us who you are?" I looked at them seriously. After a moment, I said, "You might have heard of me. My name is Zhao Lin." The name Zhao Lin didn't get much reaction from the five. Only confusion. Should I know that name?" The captain asked cautiously. "Actually, I'm kind of famous." I felt a little awkward. That girl Lin Nyanian suddenly raised her hand high. "Sai, I remember now. You're the lead singer of Disaster Metal Band, right? I love your song, the one. Screw Off. Wait, then you must be 10 years ago. The lady selling buns on Chungsing Road. I loved your buns. Never thought I'd see you here. But you got really skinny. And lost your chest too. Nyanian, come on. Let Mr. Zhao Lin tell us himself. Isn't that easier?" The captain cut off Lin Nyanian's nonsense.
He turned back to me, sorry.
"Sir, she has some mental disorder. She lacks common sense." She lacks common sense. What does that mean? The captain shrugged and explained. It's a rare superpower backlash. Happens a lot to espers. Their brains can't store common sense, even to tell humans from trees. She has to go by shape and color, or if it's tall or losing its leaves. I picked up on a word he said. She's an esper. Actually, we all are. The captain glanced at the shotgun. So your weapon's not very effective. Can we just talk? I hesitated a bit, but didn't lower my gun, sorry. I can't trust you fully yet, but I'm willing to talk. The captain wasn't mad. He actually understood. Yeah, earning trust this fast isn't easy. Let's start with introductions.
He tugged at his jacket.
A formal intro. Captain Yanji, Satellite Town Law Enforcement. Male, 32. Outgoing. Very capable at work. That intro was a bit too formal. I thought to myself, I have 3 questions for you. Yanji said seriously. First, why did this building revive? Second, why are you here? I froze for a moment. The building came back to life. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Yanji looked confused too. We just stared at each other for a bit. Then I snapped out of it. You mean, this place was supposed to be ruins? Not supposed to be. It always was. It only revived today. So you came back with the building? Right? Wait a minute. I feel like we're missing something here. We don't have the same info. I quickly asked, how long has this lab been destroyed? Over 200 years. Yanji answered. I went silent. Captain, I was right. He's definitely not human. Lin Nyanian suddenly mumbled. He looks like one, but he isn't. He's a being I can't even describe. The atmosphere turned cold and dangerous. A law enforcement member quickly raised his hand. A mysterious blue flashed in his pupils. The air between us froze. I could almost see the line with my eyes. Then someone drew a pistol fast, aimed it at me. In that moment, I almost pulled the trigger. But right before that, Yanji raised his hands and shouted, Everyone stay calm. Put the weapons down. I didn't lower my weapon. They didn't either. But both sides held back. Things didn't get worse. Yanji wiped his forehead and said, Well, looks like we got the first 2 answers. Now for the third question. Mr. Zhao Lin, who are you, really? You really don't know. I don't know. Tianyan Institute. Core member of the Mystery Journey Project. First generation transcendent, Zhao Ling. The moment I said that, the 5 people across from me all looked utterly shocked, like they'd heard the world's biggest secret. I thought, maybe they'd heard of Tianyan Institute, or the Mystery Journey Project. I mean, the Institute is world famous, and the project is widely discussed in our field. But then Lin Nanian just said, no way. Of the 7 first-generation transcendent beings, none kept their human form. They're basically as close to gods as it gets. The standoff ended at last. At the Institute's cafe, 5 people sat outside the counter, while I stood inside making coffee, and told my story. But I only shared some of it, kept the core secrets to myself, like the existence of the stone gate. So, after you joined Mystery Journey, you landed here? Yanji leaned on the counter, deep in thought. He asked Lin Nyanyan. Nyanyan, do you remember anything about Yanzhou? Lin Nyan rested her chin, thinking for a while. She shook her head, said she didn't have any info on it. Maybe it was destroyed or erased. How could that be? 200 years isn't long enough for history to disappear. And this place used to be Yanzhou. When I said that, I realized that's not quite right. Yanji looked at his cup. History doesn't exist anymore. Doesn't exist? What does that mean? Yanji answered, exactly what it sounds like. Now the world just gets stranger. We have no idea how big it is, what shape it is, or what's in the sky above us. History's been twisted too. Weird stuff is forcefully changing our past. We don't know what's real or what's fake. In 200 years, the world has turned into a black, shapeless mess. About Yanji's view. As a traveler, I've never felt it myself. It's hard for me to get, so I changed the topic. By the way, are you all transcendents? I asked. Yanji shook his head. We're espers. Espers aren't transcendents? Totally different things. Espers are people who gain powers through different means. It's a pretty broad term. So what about transcendence? They're born special, naturally godlike. Espers can't compare at all. That was weird. I thought of Yanqi. Do you know Yanqi? Yanji stopped short. You're from 200 years ago, but you know Yanqi? How do you know him? We were college classmates, pretty close friends. I answered honestly. Yanji's expression suddenly turned odd. He froze a second, then finally answered me. Yanqi, second-generation transcendent. Lord of Justice City. Basically a demigod now. Half a year ago, he destroyed a city of 500,000 people. Alone. I felt my mind blank out. All I felt was this huge gap I've never felt before. Even Yanji's voice sounded distant. Just days ago, Yanqi texted me, said he had a fight in the cafeteria. While working part-time, they docked his pay. He felt wronged. When I left, Yanqi said when I get back, he'd treat me to roast lamb. Now, it should have just been one meal away. Or a nap away. My best friend ever. Killed my most trusted professor. And became a terrifying demigod people fear. The world still moves, turning everything I learned into a pile of strange dust. So, you still claim you're a first-generation transcendent? Yanji's voice snapped me back. Doesn't matter if I claim or not. I really am. Not just first gen. The very first. I calmly poured him more coffee. Then let me introduce you to someone. The mayor of Satellite Town. Is he a transcendent? No, he's not. He's an esper too. But he's really strong. His power comes from a true transcendent. He's that transcendence agent. Satellite Town isn't a natural town. It was born from the mystery. So it's not modern. It feels super Victorian. Pointed arch buildings everywhere. Streets paved with blue stones. Flower windows and white stone columns. Coal plant church. It rains from the 7th to 14th every month. So you never see the sun here. The sky is always gray and rainy. But what doesn't fit that old vibe is the town hall in Satellite Town. There was something truly unique. It was the wreckage of an artificial satellite. It lay atop a pile of building debris. A massive thing, over 15 meters long. A silver cylindrical structure. It looked intricate and elegant. There were 2 vertical solar panels on each side. But this thing once soared above the atmosphere. Now it's battered and wrecked. The main body is full of holes. Everything inside was stripped out long ago by scavengers. Only a messy frame is left. A corpse of technology. Whenever Lan Xiu looked at that satellite, she always felt a strange sense of disconnect. This is her 3rd year as mayor. Right now, she was standing by the window in her office on the 2nd floor of the admin building, quietly staring at the empty street and the silence, resting not far away. The outside wall was covered in ivy. It swayed lazily in the dull wind. Lan Xiu felt a bit irritable. That mysterious lab coming back alive made her uneasy. Plus, there's already enough trouble lately. Just then, a knock came from outside the door. Lan Xiu didn't turn around. She just said sharply, "Come in." The person outside opened the door and came in. It was a member of the law enforcement team, Zhou Zheng, the oldest in the team, and with the most experience.
Mayor.
Chief Yanji, when investigating the research institute, found someone there. Zhou Zhang sounded serious. Someone from our town. Or from another group? Lan Shi replied casually. It's just one of two outcomes. And either way, he can handle it. But the chief doesn't think so.
He thinks this person came back to life along with the lab.
Lan Xiu froze. She looked up in surprise. Came back to life with the lab? And he claims he's a first-generation transcendent. Zhou Zhang went on. Hearing that word, Lan Xiu was very calm. She didn't believe it for even a split second. First-generation transcendents don't even have human form. That's common knowledge. Like I don't already have enough problems. Lan Xiu sighed, setting her glass on the windowsill. All right, let's go have a look. So transcendents are all super strong? I asked, a bit shocked. Yeah, the earlier the generation, the stronger they are. I was curious though. Why do you think transcendents are weak? Yanji shot back. For a second, I didn't know how to answer. As the former strongest transcendent with no powers now, I think I'm kind of an authority there. Xiaolin, can I get another cup of coffee? Lin Nianian, sitting next to me, raised her hand high. She's already had like 4 cups. And she always wants 3 spoons of sugar each time. Kind of a waste, actually. I picked up the coffee pot and refilled her cup. She instantly had that happy look. Mr. Xiaolin, even though you're not human, your coffee is really good. I felt kind of insulted, but didn't know how to reply. So I asked, your mayor is that Lan Xiu person, right? Is she strong too? Let's put it this way. She's the strongest person I've ever met. Yanji rubbed the handle of her cup as she spoke. Even if she doesn't do anything, you can just feel her power. I froze, holding the coffee pot. Then I looked up and asked if I gave off that same vibe. Yanji looked me up and down and gave a slight smile. Not at all. I sighed helplessly. Right then, there was a sound outside. Then footsteps loud and clear echoed down the empty hall. Yanji and the rest of the enforcement team all stood up. Our mayor's here, Yanji said. As the steps got closer, I started getting nervous too. After all, hearing Yanji's stories. This is a seriously powerful person. No way a shotgun would work on them. I just hope we don't fight. Click, the door opened. Lan Xiu walked in. She's a woman in her 50s. Tall and slim. Wearing a suit. With glasses. Looks like a scholar. And I did feel that aura Yanji talked about. Power and mystery seemed to hang around her. Like a layer of damp mist. Lan Xiu looked me over, checking my appearance and behavior. She's seen a lot, so telling a person from something else wasn't hard. She realized quickly that I was just an ordinary human. That made Lan Xiu quietly let out a breath, and even feel a bit happy. When she'd walked in, she'd seen how advanced this institute was. Even just the lab equipment was worth a fortune. She wasn't here to seize it. But if the person was just a regular human, it'd make negotiations a lot easier. Still, just to be sure, Lan Xiu used her transcendent powers, her special sensing ability. Her pupils twitched a little. Then her vision suddenly changed. Her world turned gray and white. Then she looked at me, and it was like her whole brain went numb. Her heart started racing. Her ears began to ring, like she was falling into a windless, endless abyss, just sinking and sinking. She couldn't tell what was standing in front of her. It was weird and chaotic, beyond perception, beyond understanding. Just looking at it sent chills down her spine. Definitely not human. Just looks like one. Maya, this is Mr. Xiaolin. Apparently, he woke up along with the institute. Yanji's voice snapped Lan Xiu out of it. She forced a smile. I've got the general idea now. Mr. Xiaolin, welcome to our town. Her greeting made me relax. I smiled back politely. Thank you, Mayor. Would you like some coffee? Lan Xiu sniffed the air and said, Of course, of course. That's a real treat around here. Lan Xiu took her seat, and I turned to pour coffee. Yanji was a little confused for a moment. Lan Xiu isn't strict, but she's not the type to just be careless. She is the mayor of Satellite Town, after all. Yanji started feeling something was off. Mayor Lan? Xiaolin might be from 200 years ago. Came here from the past. That's super rare, you know? I kind of want to take a few slices home. Lin Nianian said excitedly. Zhou Zhang already told me. But that's nothing special. This world is already crazy enough. A time traveler from 100 or 200 years ago isn't that shocking. Lan Xiu joked half seriously. I handed him the coffee. He took the cup with a friendly nod and took a sip. Then he looked up and asked, Mr. Zhaolin, what are your plans now? Are you planning to leave or settle down here? I don't really have a plan yet. So for now, I'll just stay at the institute. Hope that's not a problem for you all, I said politely, while secretly watching Lan Xiu's reaction. But Lan Xiu didn't really react. He nodded. He said, all right, our town isn't far from here. Tomorrow, I'll have Nyanian bring you a map. If you need anything, just come to me. All right, thanks, Mr. Lan. Lin Nyanian, off to the side, excitedly raised her arm. Mr. Zhaolin, can you give me some of your coffee beans? I really need them. Nyanian, don't be rude. Lan Xiu glared at Lin Nyan, like scolding a little kid. But Lin Nyanian really did seem like a kid, not listening and begging, just a little bit. I picked out a coffee bean and handed it to Nyanian, saying, here you go, just a bit. Lin Nyan looked annoyed, and the others around started laughing. It's not that I don't want to share. Even if I gave you some, you wouldn't know how to make coffee, I said, smiling. If you want some coffee, just come to me. Anytime, really. We've got a coffee shop in town now. Lin Nyanian cheered. It's not that I don't want to give any. I just want to build connections with the town. After all, as a time traveler, I can't live on my own forever. After chatting for a bit, the mayor said goodbye to me and left with the law enforcement team. They stepped outside, and what met their eyes was the pitch-black silent ruins of the city. A faint dark fog drifted through the still air. Only the institute's massive 3-story building stood tall above the ruins, looking especially out of place, just like the small town not far away, which seemed jammed into this space out of nowhere, like a puzzle with the wrong piece. Mayor, is that Zhao Ling guy dangerous? Is he really extraordinary? He actually noticed. Lan Xiu acts really cautious around me. She never asks about my business. She just backs off and tries to be nice. Usually, that's not how she acts at all. If I look at it logically, I don't think he's extraordinary. He seems like just a regular person. Lan Xiu answered. Then why did you study him like that just now? Because my instincts told me. I was facing something I couldn't understand. Something that really stressed me out. Everyone went silent. Lin Nyanian finally said, but I think he seems friendly. And kinda scared too. If he's that strong, it could be good for us? Lan Xiu didn't say yes or no. She just sighed. I'll ask Mr. Bai about it tomorrow. See what he thinks. After Lan Xiu and the law team left, the institute went quiet again. I stayed in the break room, where it was still warm, thinking about what comes next. At least I don't have to worry about surviving now. The institute has stores and canteens with supplies. Enough for me to last a long time. But aside from just surviving, what should I do now? Find a way to go back in time? That's what I want most. But I know it's not realistic. Strictly speaking, I didn't really time travel. I just missed 200 years. Those 200 years ticked by, second by second. Since I didn't come here by time travel, I can't go back that way either. So do I go find Yang Qi and get revenge for Yu Taizhou? Just thinking about that, my feelings get all mixed up. On one hand, I can't bring myself to hate my old friend. On the other hand, he's a powerful demigod. He could even destroy a whole city.
Honestly,
I might not even be able to beat a chicken in this world. My brain feels foggy. Even after all that coffee, I still feel sleepy. I looked up at the wall clock. It was already 10 p.m. At this point, I should just call it a night. I'll deal with tomorrow when it comes. Just to be safe, I locked the research institute's main door, stuck to my usual routine, headed back to my dorm, washed up and changed into pajamas. Then I fell into a deep sleep. Maybe it was because I've been so tense lately. But I slept like a rock. I dreamed about a lot of things. Stuff with me and Yang Qi from before. I dreamed about us working at the restaurant together. Then I saw Yu Taizhou throwing me a birthday party. My very first birthday ever. It was simple, but a lot of people showed up, with everyone wishing me well. Someone rolled out a cart. My birthday cake was on top. It was a huge white round cake. Didn't look too perfect. More like a giant chocolate ball. Everyone was fighting over cutting the cake. Red juice started pouring out. It spilled everywhere. I don't know why, but I felt uneasy. I walked around to the front and suddenly got chills. I saw Yu Shuang's face under the mask. It was Yu Shuang's corpse. His face looked bloated and swollen. It filled up the whole helmet. He stared at me with eyes all squished out of shape. Why are you the only one alive? Why, then I suddenly woke up. I sat there in bed, spaced out. My mind was blank for a few minutes. Then I suddenly realized something. My dreams changed. It wasn't just that stone door anymore. So what does that mean? I felt overwhelmed for a second. If it were those old professors here, they'd probably figure out a lot. Too bad. I'm a dummy who could barely sit through class. And I know nothing about the subconscious. I shook off the fuzz in my brain, checked the clock on the desk. It was already 9 a.m. The room felt soft and peaceful. The air and temperature felt just right. I sat up in bed, started my usual morning routine, washed up and changed clothes, then got ready to head out. Lin Nyanian should be bringing me a map today. It's a good chance to ask him to show me around. That's what I was thinking as I opened my door and found someone right outside about to knock. We both froze in surprise. Qi, Heisheng, Yu Taizhou's student and assistant. First real friend I met at Tianyan Institute. I stared for a while. You traveled through time too? Are you still half asleep? Qi Heisheng looked at me, confused. I glanced over his shoulder and looked farther away. The hallway was full of people. Footsteps and arguments everywhere. Just like every other morning I remembered. Half an hour later, in the office, Yu Taizhou told me everything that happened yesterday. Your memory's not wrong. You really did agree to explore behind the stone door. But you passed out in the prep room. Passed out? I was confused. Yu Taizhou nodded. Vasovagal syncope. Probably because you got too nervous and excited. And you're not used to breathing from the oxygen tank. But it's a harmless kind of fainting. So we sent you back to your room to rest. I was stunned for a while and couldn't say anything. So what I saw behind the door and all that stuff I went through, it was all just a dream? Could it really be that simple? I suddenly thought about that call I made. So I quickly asked, Professor, did you get any weird phone calls? Weird calls? Yu Taizhou gets lots of calls every day. He thought for a moment, shook his head, nope. Just calls from people I know or work stuff. I let out a long breath. Now I was really sure. Everything I saw behind that door yesterday, and those people in that little town, were nothing but a crazy dream. I slumped back in my chair, my neck leaning back, totally limp, and mumbled, Professor, I thought I'd never see you again. He paused a second, then smiled. You're my student, the blade I've trained. No matter what, I'd never leave you alone. He said it casually, but he was serious. Then he poured me some black tea and said, try it. It's a gift from someone else. Supposedly it's calming. I took a few sips, not sure if it was just in my head, but I really did feel calmer. Want to talk about your dream? Yu Taizhou sat back down, asked in a questioning tone. Your dream changed. That's really valuable info, especially about what's behind the stone gate. I saw the creator inside the stone gate. I held my teacup, answered softly. The creator Yu Taizhou froze for a second. Yeah, but he's dead. His body is polluting the whole world. AI Sheng and Yu Shuang are both dead. I escaped alone, but that was 200 years later. I went on. By then the research institute was gone. I found a notebook there, right when I was talking about my dream from last night. Qi Heisheng opened the door and walked in. Professor, in 10 minutes. You have a meeting to get ready for. Whatever the meeting is, just cancel it for now, or push it back an hour, Yu Taizhou said without hesitation. Qi Heisheng looked a little uneasy. I'm afraid that's not possible. It's the research progress report meeting. You know the one? That kind. As soon as you hear the name of the meeting, you know Yu Taizhou's probably getting grilled again. Research progress report is where you report to the local government. The academics and the investors, those people are greedy and aggressive anyway. Every time during the report, they show their disappointment in Yu Taizhou, always asking for faster progress. Yesterday, I fainted during prep work, so the mysterious journey failed. They'll definitely hold me accountable, but at the end of the day, they're not bad people. After all, they're funding the research, so they have the right to expect returns. All right, I'll just do the meeting then. Yu Taizhou rubbed his forehead. Xiaoling, can you write reports? Yeah, I've written college internship reports. I nodded. Then please, before I get back, write down exactly what you dreamed about. We'll talk it over later. Sure, I agreed happily. After Yu Taizhou left, I grabbed my work notebook and headed straight to the cafe. This is where, in my dream, I talked with the enforcer squad. But unlike the dream's emptiness, the place is lively now. Warm lighting, soft music in the air, young interns here chilling, arguing over something. Most of what they're saying I don't really get. I sat at the counter, opened my notebook, and started writing the report. The woman running the cafe is Zhao Mingyu, wearing a pale silk shirt with a bit of collarbone showing, and a thin silver necklace around her pale neck. She's right now by the counter, making coffee with a siphon and a halogen lamp, focused and serious, like she's running a science experiment. Her long black hair down to her waist, tied up at the ends with a ribbon, just casually done, looks super gentle. She's really pretty, but it's not just about her looks. It's more about her attractive vibe. When she saw me come in, Zhao Mingyu looked up and teased. Well, our cute little lab mouse is working too? No running the wheel today? I'm kind of a celebrity at the research institute. Almost everyone knows me. She's no exception. And she loves calling me little lab mouse as a joke. Can't help it, life's tough. Even a lab mouse has to save the world. I stretched a bit. The warm air and chatter in the cafe make me a bit sleepy. Why not let you be my little lab mouse for once? I'm mixing up something new. Want to give it a try? Zhao Mingyu tilted her head and asked. Her eyes are so charming. It's hard to say no. You never let me off the hook, do you? I glanced at the dark drink. Is it bitter? If it's too bitter, I'm not drinking it. Relax, it's not bitter at all. Zhao Mingyu turned off the halogen lamp, cooled the siphon with a wet cloth, watched the coffee drip back down, then poured a little into a small clear glass and set it in front of me. I took a sip and realized I got tricked. This stuff is pretty bitter. But honestly, it tastes great. Way better than my own coffee. Can you teach me how to make this? I asked, looking up. Zhao Mingyu seemed surprised. She raised her brows slightly. I thought you only researched world-saving tech, like shooting laser beams from your eyes or whatever. Just thinking, if someday it's just me left, I could make myself coffee. Not a bad idea. I said without thinking. Zhao Mingyu went quiet. I was stunned too, then realized that probably sounded weird. Guess last night's dream got to me. Zhao Mingyu poured herself a cup too, took a little sip, then poured the rest into the waste pot. She tidied up and said, Sky Eye Institute is a closed place, full of oddballs. Most people here never leave. Even if they do, they don't really cut ties. Like me. And you too, of course. I heard you fainted yesterday. Don't let it bother you. You'll be someone important one day. I shook my head, voice low. I don't really care about being important. I just want to see what's at the end of this path. That's all. Zhao Mingyu didn't comment. Then said, coffee with red grapefruit. Tastes clean, with more layers, though the method's tricky. Not really for beginners. But I can teach you step by step. She blinked. After you finish your work. Yu Taizhou hates research progress report meetings. But not because of the tough audience. He knows it's their job. He just hates these meetings. They always take up almost his whole day. He glanced at the clock on the wall. It was 4 p.m. The investor rep on stage kept demanding to start the second trial, ASAP. Yu Taizhou just tuned him out. His mind was full of the dream I just told him about. Transcendence in the real world, gaining powers. If that's real, he'll have to consider using transcendence in war. The sealed transcendence. Blood samples can't just be shared easily. Those resources should only move research forward. Then, the meeting coordinator knocked on the door. Professor Yu, your call. The room filled with annoyed murmurs. But Yu Taizhou had already left the room. He took the phone and frowned a little, because the call came from his own office. He told people not to touch his phone. Don't mess with his phone unless necessary. Yu Taizhou picked up and said, a bit annoyed. Hello? Who is this? Professor Yu, it's me. Xiaolin, where are you right now? I heard a voice on the other end. Yu Taizhou froze. Xiaolin, aren't I in a meeting right now? What's up? Something wrong? There was a brief silence. Then the tone suddenly turned sharp. Professor Yu, please believe what I'm about to say. I came out from the stone gate. Now I've jumped decades into the future. I found a diary. Inside, there are 3 key dates. July 2028. Supernaturals gain powers in the real world, January 2033. Supernaturals are sent to the battlefield. World War III breaks out, July 2035. The Institute is destroyed by a second-gen supernatural, Yang Qi. Wait a second. Xiaolin, why are you telling me this? What's going on with you? Professor Yu looked confused. A strong sense of unease started boiling up, but I didn't answer. I just kept talking. Professor, I don't know if I'll make it back alive, but I swear, everything I'm saying is true. You all have to get ready. And there's something about that stone gate. Please, do whatever you can to close it. Behind the door lies the grave of a god. That world is already tainted. Shuli, where are you? I'm coming for you right now. Don't run off. A sharp electric noise seemed to come from the phone, or maybe it was in his head. A sudden pain almost made Yu Taejo drop the phone. By the time he recovered, the call was already over.
Tell them.
The meeting's over, Yu Taejo suddenly said seriously to the coordinator. Then he shouted, Ki Heisheng, come here. Ki Heisheng rushed over, quickly saying, Professor, what's wrong? Yu Taejo threw the key card to Ki Heisheng and said, take people to layer 0 now. Right now, got it? After I handed Yu Taejo the bound report, he sat at his desk and read it over and over. His calm eyes looked heavy. Professor, is something wrong with the report? I asked from across the table. Yu Taejo didn't answer him. He slowly put the report back on the desk and said, Xiaolin, I want you to go somewhere with me. The professor walked ahead. I followed behind. We took the elevator down, back to that familiar hallway. The white door at the end still stood there, quiet. Its coated surface glowed softly under the light. The access light was blinking. Yu Taejo stared at the door, his face turning distant.
He said, Xiaolin.
I don't know if you can handle what's next, but I have to tell you, because you have to face him. His words made me uneasy. I walked toward the metal door. The closer I got, the more uneasy I felt. I stopped in front of the door, took a deep breath, and pressed my hand on the screen. Then, with a soft beep, the metal door slid open before me. When I saw what was inside, I froze in shock. Behind the door wasn't my dream. It was a vast, ancient cave. The space was huge, with stone pillars everywhere. Stalactites hung from the ceiling. Thin streams of water trickled down. The stone gate was gone. The dreamlike feeling vanished. The mystical aura disappeared too, as if they'd never existed. Some terrible ideas were starting to boil in my mind. I asked, what does this mean? Yu Taejo didn't answer. Instead, he suddenly said, today, most of the day, I was in meetings. And then? At 4:42, I got a call from my office landline. It was you calling. My heart skipped a beat. I realized where that call came from. Besides that, Yu Shuang and AI Shang vanished. Not missing, but completely gone. We can't find their names on any of our lists or records. I tried to control the wild thoughts racing through my mind. I asked, Professor, are these changes connected to my dream? Did my dream cause the anomaly? Yu Taejo looked deeply at me, his eyes full of mixed feelings. Xiaoling, you got it backwards. That world is real. This is your dream. Something thundered in my mind, then started to burn. I didn't lose control. For some reason, I felt unusually calm now. So calm. Even Yu Taejo's voice sounded distant, even though I knew it was never that simple. I still didn't expect this outcome. So basically, I'm still alone in a world centuries later, facing the unknown by myself. Yu Taejo grabbed my shoulders, his expression grave as never before. He looked at me and said, Xiaolin, I hope you can close that door. Save our world. I know it's too much for you, and totally unfair, but Xiaolin, you're all we have now. Silence spread. After about 10 seconds of this silence, I lowered my head. I said, sorry, Professor. Images flashed in my mind of Yu Shuang dying, and AI Sheng's last words before hanging herself. He said we'd go extinct, right? About the things behind that door. I'm not scared. I just feel powerless. So powerless that I don't even fear or respect death anymore. I see. Yu Taejo seemed to deflate a little, then forced a smile. But I get it. It's your choice. He suddenly looked at me again. But whatever happens, Xiaolin, you need to keep living. I'll do everything I can to help you. When I woke up again from sleep, I was still in my small bedroom. The wall clock showed 9 a.m. I sat up, stared at my bedroom door, and the light gray door just stood there, silent. No response at all. I got out of bed, walked toward the door, grabbed the handle, and took a deep breath. Click, the door opened slowly. The hallway outside was dead quiet. The huge majestic institute was cold and bright, but empty. I erased my last bit of hope, then gave a self-mocking grin. Welcome to the real world. But now, I've learned to accept my situation calmly. I went back to my room, started getting ready, changed clothes, and went to the cafeteria for breakfast. I didn't officially start working until 10. That was a direct order from Yu Taejo. Told me to eat well, keep a regular routine, just live a normal life. First, I stopped by the geospirit level, just as I expected. The stone gate was gone from the real world too. Yu Taejo had mentioned that stone gate was extremely powerful. Closing it wouldn't be easy. Looks like he was right. I call this phenomenon disappearance. Next, I went to the lounge. Saw a reset happen there. The coffee cup and opened beans I used yesterday were right back where they started. No trace they were ever used. Even the packaging looked brand new. So basically, after I woke up, the research institute reset back to how it was when I returned yesterday. If the institute's resources reset each day, then I've got endless coffee beans. Not that it's super useful. Next, in Yu Taejo's office, I spotted the third phenomenon, interfering with last night. Yu Taejo had left a note on his desk. It had the security system's port and password. I placed that note there myself and mentally wished I could see him in the real world. And now he's really here. My third guess was spot on too. Dreams and reality can influence each other, at least a bit, and I can actually control that effect. Disappearance, reset, and interference. These three paranormal effects already back up Yu Taejo's theory. The institute coming back wasn't random. It's tied to my own power. But how does this power work? And what will it cause next? I honestly have no idea yet. I wrote it all down. Snapped some photos too. Planning to make a report. Kept writing until noon. My phone started vibrating. Alert from the smart security system. I tapped the alert. Camera view switched to the door. There was Lin Nyanian, hugging that big thick book, standing at the door looking around. I hit the open button and got up to head out. We bumped into each other in the lobby. Lin Nyan adjusted her glasses and looked at me, mumbling under her breath. Animals walk on 4 limbs. Back legs make them upright. They wear things humans make. Then she opened her thick book. Looks like you're human. She closed her book again and started to laugh. Hello, human. I came to deliver a map to Mr. Xiaolin. I'm Xiaolin. No way. Mr. Xiaolin isn't human, Lin Nyanian said. I twitched a little. I never thought one day I'd have to prove I'm actually human. Should I mention you ate about half a pound of my coffee beans yesterday? Want me to bring that up? Lin Nyanian froze up. Hee, good afternoon, Mr. Xiaolin. I brought you your map. I took the map, gave it a quick look. It was carefully drawn with ruler and compass. Solid details, but not much content. Just marked the key spots. If that's all, I'll get going. Lin Nyanian tried to duck out. She was about to slip away, but I grabbed her. Busy today? If you don't mind, want to be my tour guide for half a day? I do mind. I'm just a sickly little girl. Besides, I have work today. But I bought you coffee. Go. Let's go. Lin Nyanian perked up and led the way. Satellite town isn't that big, but it's my first time seeing a Victorian-style town. Pretty cool, honestly. The air's humid. Wide streets. Narrow, skinny houses on either side. Fancy designs are everywhere. Not many people out right now. Anyone around is just passing by quickly. Feels pretty empty. Somewhere far off in town. You can hear heavy, steady banging. Probably industrial equipment running slow. We walked down a stone road. Lin Nyanian started acting as a real tour guide. This town belongs to Blue Dragon Mining Company. 3 years ago, our mayor Len Xiu was assigned here to build the town. Population's around 5,000 now. Production-wise, mainly coal mining. The town includes an industrial area. There's a coal mine over there. We sell all the coal we make to Blue Dragon Company. So does everyone who lives here work in the mines? I asked. Not really. Mining is officially Satellite Town's main industry, but it's actually not that big. We also have some tax-paying residents, like actuaries, grain merchants, and reps from small associations, plus a bunch of random folks. But some of them aren't exactly decent. If I want to live here, do I pay taxes too? I asked again. Technically, yes. But Mr. Zhaolin could work for us. Work to pay your taxes. No way I'm working. I've got plenty of savings. Lin Nyanian looked at me, her eyes full of sympathy. What's wrong? Is there a problem? I started to worry. The old currency system totally collapsed. Cash is pretty much worthless. Only the Monetary Order Union still uses bills. But they're not good news either. I went quiet. I didn't expect after saving up nearly 10 million, thinking I'd be set for life. I didn't even get to spend a dime before ending up stuck in this world. Broke again. So what currency do people use now? Gold and silver? I asked. Yeah, gold's for big deals. Silver's for day-to-day stuff. 1 gram of gold equals 100 grams of silver. At that point, Lin Nyanian perked up and said, But Mr. Zhaolin, your research institute is super valuable. It's worth about as much as the whole town. Our mayor is really jealous. My face twitched. You're just selling out your mayor like that. Is that really okay? I'm not selling the institute. It means a lot to me, I said. Of course I know that. But Mr. Zhaolin should be careful of gravediggers. Lin Nyanian warned. Gravediggers? Yeah, people who make a living digging up ruins and sites. And they're not great either. So they're bad too. Everyone's bad in this world. What's wrong with this place? I felt a bit awkward. When I was about to ask more, Lin Nyanian suddenly ran ahead. She stopped in front of a ruined site. Ta-da! Welcome to Satellite Town's first wonder. The madman's corpse. I froze. Only then did I notice that broken low wall behind him. Something huge was lying on the wall. It was a corpse, about 5 or 6 meters long. Its whole body was covered in dark gray scales. Bat-like wings stretched out on both sides. Thick, sharp claws on all 4 limbs. It looked like a dragon, but not quite. Its back was hunched. Almost a round skeleton, like a mix of human and dragon. But it had no head. The neck was shriveled and dark where it was severed, like something chopped clean through it. There were still traces of offerings left in front of the wall. Rotting flowers lay on the ground. Globs of white candle wax formed odd shapes. What kind of creature is this? I was shocked. Not a creature. It's a transcendent. And an early one, too. Lin Nyanian explained. I studied the body carefully. It looked powerful, almost engineered. Totally intimidating. And even though it's been dead a long time, there was no sign of decay at all. If anything, it seemed almost solid and real. I picked up my camera and started taking pictures, planning to get a few shots. I'll show them to you Taejo tonight. I heard this person was a madman while alive. Lin Nyanian suddenly spoke up. A madman? I blurted out. Yeah, supposedly he was some sort of professor. Thought that the mystical incursion would end the world. He even tried to stop it. But the world's still here. He ended up dead instead. Pretty sad, honestly. My hand with the camera froze. I put down the camera. I stared at the corpse. Now I understood. This was Yu Taejo's body. At the end of the street, damp wind cut right through me, carrying a feeling I couldn't name. It left me stunned and silent. Wherever Yu Taejo went, flashbulbs always followed. Tons of reporters covering him, endless praise. People expected great things from him. He was supposed to be the one to end the incursion, the one to save the world. Now his corpse rests here. No grave, no marker. No one even remembers his name. All they know is he was a delusional madman. But what they don't see is how close he came to saving the world. Yu Taejo didn't deserve to end like this. I slowly walked closer, raised my hand to touch the massive corpse, the sharp claws, rough and cold to the touch. I could feel the chills seeping into my arm. I suddenly remembered asking Yu Taejo once, what if we fail? Yu Taejo stood in the blazing morning light. He spoke softly. We won't fail. As long as we're trying, we haven't failed. We'll keep fighting till the end of the world. That was an hour ago. Now I've made up my mind. I won't let the salvation plan die here. Not for the world, but for them? I have to finish Yu Taejo's path. Mr. Xiaolin, be careful, okay?
He might have been dead a long time.
But it could still be dangerous. Lin Nyanian reminded me. His voice snapped me out of it. It's okay. He won't hurt me. You seem a bit upset. Do I touched my cheek. Just for a moment. My mind was racing. Not even sure if sadness was in there. My Fang looked kind of guilty. Her lips drooped a little. Muscles around her eyes tightened. That's how people look when they're sad. Lin Nyanian started going on about it. But if you were an ape or a monkey, that might mean you're excited. I pressed my lips together, not wanting to say a word. I didn't get it. How did a normal girl end up talking nonstop like this? Mr. Xiaolin, you know what? I once came up with a method to tell if someone's human through facial expressions. Then one day, Joe just drew a smiley face on the wall. I talked to it for 2 hours. It didn't say a word. I figured maybe it just liked to smile and not talk much. My mouth twitched. Did you make it cry? Mr. Xiaolin, you're pretty silly. Words can't make expressions. It was just a face, right? Lin Nyanian teased cheerfully. I fell into deep silence. This girl might actually be a dummy. And I just got played by her. A heavy sense of helplessness made me sigh. I gave up resisting, changed the subject. Other than this place, is there anywhere else worth seeing? Lin Nyanian bit her finger, thinking for a bit. She asked Mr. Xiaolin, guess why our town is called Satellite Town? Because you're next to a big central city? I went with the standard definition. Lin Nyanian shook her head. Nope. Can't be because you guys have an actual satellite, right? Lin Nyanian blinked. No way? Seriously? You really have a satellite? We headed down the street, toward the town hall. A couple blocks away from the hall, I saw the satellite. It was charred all over, almost broken in half, just an empty shell left. Bare wires and pipes stuck out. Proof that it had been through hell. Now there's nothing left. Its main body was slammed into the ground, leaning against the ruins of a house, surrounded by rubble and weeds. Dull light poured in through a crack. There was a bleak, unreal beauty to it. Eye of deep space. I recognized this satellite. The Special Observation Satellite for Sky Eye Institute. One of the world's top satellites. 15 meters long. 9-meter wingspan. Weighed 20 tons. Built by more than 20 countries together. It was designed to catch a possible, maybe impossible, particle, a mysterious particle. So it got ground mapping and ground monitoring equipment. Also came with different particle detectors. I was at the launch, at Juquan Launch Center. I still remember that monster rocket blasting off, roaring fire below. 20 country crests shining on its side. Everyone cheered. But now all that glory is lost to history. It just sits here. Nothing but wreckage left. Pretty impressive, huh? I heard some people first tried to fix it, but they failed. Then grave robbers took everything inside. Lin Nyanian keeps babbling next to me, but I just ignore her. I stare at this huge wreckage. A thought quietly pops up in my mind. If my power could revive the research center, then maybe I could bring this satellite back too. You know, the satellite's ground control is right at Tianyan Research Center. If I could revive this satellite, I'd understand this world even better. I step over those toppled bricks and walk up to the satellite remains. Then I close my eyes. I calm my mind. I gently reach out and touch it, feeling the old wreck in silence, sensing something stirring deep inside. Wake up, come back to this world. I mutter softly. Everything around is dead quiet. Only a faint wind passes through the ruins. After a long while, a voice suddenly rings in my ear. Mr. Xiaolin, I noticed you have a bad habit. You just love touching things everywhere. You were just touching a body, and now you're touching this. This thing's been here forever. It's actually really dirty. Remember to wash your hands later. That's not the satellite talking. That's Lin Nanian's voice. I knew I was just being unrealistic. I pull my hand back. I explain I wasn't just touching it randomly. I was just trying something. Trying? What? Don't tell me you wanted to Vive this thing? I just saw your lips move. You said something like, wake up, right? Come back to this world, or something? Mr. Xiaolin, you're kinda childish, you know? Suddenly, I have the urge to strangle this girl. She's so annoying, seriously. Talking to her feels like being poked all over. I quietly take my hand back. Trying not to yell, I say, let's go somewhere else. Alright, then let's check out the shopping district. Lin Nyanian's all excited. Are you really showing me around? Or are you just looking for a reason to shop? We just walked out of the ruins, when suddenly, a little white thing floats down from the sky. It's a white paper plane. It swoops through the street, circling around Lin Nyanian, almost like it's alive. Ah, that's our mayor's ugly. Paper plane! Lin Nyanian calls out. Then she reaches out and grabs it. What is this thing? I'm kind of shocked. Just a way to send messages. This kind of thing is called a smoke letter. It can track a specific person over a certain range, used for short-distance communication. Lin Nyanian explains as she goes, then flattens out the paper plane. And there, written big, is, why aren't you back at work? Just those 4 simple words. Lin Nyanian's face drops instantly. Crap, there's something important this afternoon. I totally forgot. Help, seeing her all panicking. I suddenly feel much better. Turns out, even in this supernatural era, wage slaves still have to report to work. So, what's the rush? I just ask casually. I'm supposed to help the mayor today. Contact Mr. Bai online. I freeze, the world's in ruins. And there's still internet. But before I can ask, Lin Nyanian pipes up. Anyway, I gotta go now. Mr. Xiaolin, wander around yourself for a bit? Wait, I'll go with you. But this is an internal job. I'm not sure if the mayor will let me take you. Lin Nyanian hesitates. I could vouch for you. Prove you didn't slack off this morning. Otherwise, the mayor might cut your pay. Lin Nyanian starts thinking. She stops thinking. She suddenly lifts her head. All right. Good idea, Mr. Xiaolin. Remember to praise me later, okay? We cross 2 blocks. The town hall is right by the main road. This is the most crowded place I've seen today. People are coming and going at the entrance. Inside, staff are busy working. I even spot Deputy Captain Zhou Zhang from the enforcement team. He's standing at the door smoking with 2 team members. He looks pretty weighed down. Lin Nyanian just chats with them for a bit, then brings me up to the mayor's office on the 3rd floor. When we open the door,
Team Captain Yan Ji is inside too. He has his hands behind his back.
he's talking with Lan Xiu. The thing dug up in my note. 3. Has it changed at all? Lan Xiu asks. We haven't seen any obvious changes. Yan Ji puts his hands behind his back, answering very seriously. What about those miners who dug it up? They're under observation. But so far there haven't been any problems. Lan Xiu nods. She doesn't say anything else. At that moment, Lin Nyanian pokes her head in. Mayor, I'm here for work. Lan Xiu's gaze lands on me first. She says politely, Mr. Zhao, good afternoon. Then she turns to Lin Nyanian. Where'd you go at noon today? You've been gone for like 6 hours. I didn't slack off. Mr. Xiaolin asked me to show him around. Get to know the town better. And I did a good job, didn't I, Mr. Xiaolin? Right?
Hearing this,
Lan Xiu gives me this sympathetic look. Mr. Xiaolin, I actually meant for Zhou Zhang or Yan Ji to be your guide. I sigh. You should have told me sooner. I wouldn't have suffered so much. So, how was it? Yan Ji asks from the side. Like an overly hyper puppy, Yan Ji gives me a salute. Mr. Xiaolin, your writing skills and metaphors are honestly amazing. Yeah, but Yan Ji with all his long sentences probably isn't tour guide material either. So, Mr. Xiaolin, what's up? You're not just here to vouch for Nyanian, right? Lan Xiu points at a chair, motioning me to sit. Of course not. I just heard from Nyanian you have internet here. Lan Xiu and Yan Ji exchange a few glances. Then Lan Xiu speaks carefully. We do have internet, but this internet is probably nothing like you imagine. Nothing like it? What do you mean? Lan Xiu thinks for a few seconds. Then she looks up and says, it's hard to explain. You could just experience it yourself. How do I do that? I look around the office curious. There's not a single computer in here. Doesn't look like you have any network equipment either. The network's right here, Lan Xiu says, grabbing Lin Nyanian. So now we are supposed to stick a network cable into Lin Nyan's nose and then power it up? Lin Nyanian instinctively covered her nose. All right, let's just show Mr. Zhao Lin directly, Lan Xiu said. Lin Nyanian got a bit more serious. He adjusted his glasses. Hugging the book to his chest, he said, Mr. Zhao Lin, in a moment I'll link our minds. During this process, just clear your thoughts. Don't overthink it. I don't have much mental processing power. If your mind wanders, I might not be able to pull you in. As he spoke, a deep blue light shone from his pupils. The next second, darkness started rushing through the room at an incredible speed. It spread and swallowed everything around us. The walls, furniture, and boundaries all disappeared. In their place was a deep, pitch-black space. Then a city of lines rose up out of nowhere. Towers hundreds, even thousands of stories tall were everywhere. Roads and overpasses made of lines twisted and crossed. A ton of traffic sped steadily down the highways. They quickly vanished into the distance. A full-on immersive 3D virtual world. This is your internet. I couldn't help but be blown away by what I saw. Pretty cool, right? Only certain people, like espers and psychic users, can enter here. Lin Nyanian started introducing things proudly. He pointed at those odd landscapes and said, those towers are personal databases. Data travels through the highways. There are public lanes. And private lanes too. I looked at one road tilted in the sky and saw countless vehicles, zooming by insanely fast. They were such a blur I couldn't see them clearly. So what's this place for? I glanced around at the unbelievable scenery and asked. This virtual world was built by Wisdom City. They provide communication services and handle knowledge trades. Of course, you can pay for memberships and stuff like that. Right then, Lan Xiu cut Lin Nyanian's explanation off. All right, let's get back to business. Is Mr. Bai online yet? Lin Nyanian tilted his head, sensing for a bit.
He said, yeah, he's online.
He's in his database now. So, how do we get there? Do you have a car? Or should we crowd onto the bus? I asked. Lin Nyanian grinned mysteriously. He raised his hand, then slowly pulled back in the air. As he did, the whole city started to move. It surged fast behind us. Our bodies shot straight through countless towers and highways. In a blink, we were standing in a room. This room is the only place not made of lines. It has color, shape, and sound. Looks just like the real world. It's an office, not exactly fancy. A middle-aged man in his 40s sat behind a desk, his elbows resting on the table, looking at the three of us. This is Mr. Bai, the main person in charge of Blue Dragon Mining Company. Lan Xiu introduced. Mr. Bai, this is Mr. Zhao Lin. He just moved to our satellite town not long ago. He's really interested in the internet, so we brought him here to try it out. Mr. Bai looked me over head to toe, then gave a friendly smile. Welcome to Satellite Town. Hope Xiu didn't neglect you. Mayor Lan is super responsible. I said seriously. Good, but the rest of the meeting might be a bit boring. I realized he was politely hinting I should leave. Honestly, I felt pretty out of place myself. It's not really proper to listen in on other people's meetings. So I went along with it. Good thing though, I already saw the parts I was interested in. I'll stop interrupting your meeting. After we said our polite goodbyes, I felt the darkness around me quickly dissolve. And in a moment, it all vanished. I was back in that old-fashioned room. Lin Nyanian and Lan Xiu stood quietly in place. They seemed to be asleep. Mr. Zhao Lin, you're back. Take a break and have some tea. Yan Ji, who was reading, looked up and said, in virtual space. Mr. Bai waited until I logged off, then finally asked, tell me more about his background. Yesterday, a research center near Satellite Town came back to life. He revived along with it. He's a time traveler from 200 years ago, and he might be very powerful. Lan Xiu started explaining. She told Mr. Bai about the lab incident yesterday, in detail from start to finish, including the first time he and I met, and the scary presence we sensed from him. After she finished, Mr. Bai went silent, thinking. Then he suddenly looked up at Lin Nyanian and asked, have you interacted with him? I was his guide all morning today. Showed him the corpse of a lunatic and satellite wreckage. He's kinda messy. Likes to touch stuff. Lin Nyanian answered, ignoring Lin Nyanian's complaints. Mr. Bai kept asking, what kind of person do you think he is? Lin Nyanian bit his thumb and started to think. It felt kind of weird. He remembered the scene where I touched the corpse of the lunatic. A young boy stood in front of a giant corpse, his hand touching those sharp claws. Completely silent, his back was filled with deep sadness and loneliness. Almost like he was mourning a dead friend. He's a good person with empathy, Lin Nyanian mumbled first, then looked up and repeated, I think he's a good guy. Mr. Bai looked seriously at Lin Nyanian. After a moment, he lowered his eyes and said, here's my conclusion. I think you've all been fooled. No way! Lin Nyanian was shocked. Mr. Bai shook his head. First off, an esper is just an esper, and the signs are clear as day. If you can't tell, then it's definitely not.
Second.
Unknown doesn't mean strong. True power shows up in ability and destructive force, but he's missing both. As for that willpower or fear you sensed, that's way too subjective. Feels more like psychic interference. So he's probably a psychic type esper. Lan Xiu didn't seem surprised. Actually, after thinking it over, I guess that too. But I still kinda like him. Why would he lie to us? Lin Nyanian had trouble accepting it. Mr. Bai just smiled. Someone from 200 years ago faces a world that's totally new. A little deception is actually pretty mild. So what should we do with him? Lan Xiu asked. Lin Nyanian suddenly felt nervous. He wanted to put in a good word for me, but he didn't dare speak up in front of Mr. Bai. Mr. Bai is the owner of Blue Dragon Mining Company. He's the big boss running this whole town. And he's also a 7th generation extraordinary. Way stronger than Lan Xiu. Mr. Bai seems lost in thought. The room goes quiet. No sounds at all. After a long pause, Mr. Bai speaks. We'll protect the weak as much as we can. As long as he's not a bad person. Lan Xiu straightened up and said, all right, got it. Lin Nyan let out a long sigh of relief. Then she started rambling again. Actually, Mr. Zhaolin is a pretty nice guy. And his coffee tastes great. Yesterday I kept drinking his coffee over and over. He even said he wants to open a cafe in town. Nobody paid attention to Lin Nyanian's chatter. Mr. Bai continued talking about his assets. You can transfer them to us gradually, based on the current agreements. He doesn't seem to want to sell anything right now. That's not a problem. Just have him make a list first. Let's buy the stuff he's willing to sell. As for the rest, when he realizes he doesn't need it, he'll probably just sell it off too. I'll talk with him about it when the time comes. Mr. Bai nodded.
He started thinking again.
Like he was wondering if he missed something. The other two kept quiet and left him alone. After a long silence, he brought up another issue. How's the mine investigation going? Any results yet? That was the main thing we came here to report today. Lan Xiu jumped in to answer. 7 days ago, we dug up that stone coffin in mine No. 3. Now, we've cleared out half of it. He paused for a moment. We did find a feather quill on the lid. A feather quill mark. So it's the writer's mark, huh? Mr. Bai's brows furrowed deeply. He knows exactly what that means. If it's really a writer, we might be in trouble, but we can't be sure it's real yet. The miners who found the coffin are all fine. So, it's still possible this is a fake, Lan Xiu added. Mr. Bai thought for a bit. What about the writer's manuscript? Lan Xiu shook her head. We searched every scrap of paper in town. Still no manuscript found yet. If the manuscript doesn't exist, then it's probably just a fake. But maybe the manuscript is actually in the coffin. Mr. Bai muttered to himself. Should I order them to open the coffin? Not yet. I'll go check it out myself in the next few days. Wait until I get there. Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Bai. Lan Xiu bowed to Mr. Bai. It's my problem to solve anyway. Oh, by the way, is there any gift you want? Lin Nyanian quickly raised her hand. I want that osmanthus cake downstairs. Lan Xiu was about to stop her, but Mr. Bai just smiled dotingly.
He said, I'll go buy some before we leave.
They've got new stuff too. Tastes great. Thank you, boss. Lin Nyanian was overjoyed. Lan Xiu just quietly shook her head. Oh right, Mr. Bai. I heard something about Yun City. The city guards and the Crimson Legion clashed. Mr. Bai heard this and leaned back in his chair a bit. looking kind of helpless. Yeah, it happened on the buffer plains outside Yan City. Yan City wants me to step in. But I said no. They aren't upset about that. Lan Xiu asked. Yan City is Blue Dragon Mining's main base. There's no official agreement between us. But the Yan City officials have always tried to please us. I only help defend Yan City. I don't get involved in revenge stuff.
Besides,
I heard the Crimson Legion is backed by an extraordinary too. I don't want this turning into a clash between exceptionals. Mr. Bai tapped the table softly. Xiu, things are getting messier and messier. You're going to run into more and more trouble. Thank you for your hard work. I'm sitting by the office coffee table, drinking tea while I wait. About 20 minutes later, Lan Xiu and Lin Nianian finally logged out of the virtual world. Lin Nianian sighed as soon as she came back. Wow, I can't believe Mr. Zhao Lin is actually him. She cut herself off mid-sentence. She saw me sitting by the table with my teacup staring at her. Then she quickly covered her mouth. Actually him. What? I put down my teacup and asked, you mean a hammerhead? Like a double kill or something? Lin Nianian started rambling nonsense. She looked ready to jump with embarrassment. Lan Xiu laughed. I thought Mr. Zhao would log out and just leave. But I still have some questions about exceptionals. That's why I stuck around. I turned to Lan Xiu. So, what's your question? Go ahead, if I can help, I will. Lan Xiu leaned on the table, bracing herself with both hands behind her. I remember Captain Yan said that superpowers are gained later in life, right? Lan Xiu nodded. Yep, through drugs or special events. Or by radiation or mutations. All those can be sources of superpowers. Agents too. They're a type of exceptional. But agents get their power from exceptionals. So they're stronger. I'm Mr. Bai's agent. So all psychic exceptionals can access the internet? I kept asking. By this point, Lan Xiu knew what I was getting at. He wasn't surprised. In fact, that confirmed what Mr. Bai thought. So you want to become a psychic exceptional, right? Lan Xiu asked with a smile. Yeah, I answered honestly. For me right now, the most important thing is learning about this world. And the internet is the best tool for that. It'll make everything way easier. Ahem, ahem. Lin Nianian started clearing her throat, all exaggerated. Then she knocked on purpose and said, Mr. Zhao Lin, actually, all exceptionals can connect to the net. Aren't you a first-generation exceptional? How come you can't do it? That's really weird. I looked at the snarky Lin Nianian, totally confused. I had no idea what this girl was up to. But that's just like an overexcited puppy, going nuts out of nowhere. I don't get it either. Maybe I just haven't figured out how yet. I answered honestly. Mr. Zhao Lin, don't you feel embarrassed talking to me like this? Lin Nianian looked scheming. I could feel the veins throbbing on my forehead. Maybe you're just not tempting enough. Huh? Watching their conversation get off track, Lan Xiu stepped in. Mr. Zhao Lin, actually, you're really lucky. I was stunned. Why did she say that all of a sudden? Lan Xiu looked at me. Because I just happen to have a serum that can develop superpowers. Yanji, do we have that? Lin Nianian, huh? Since when? The two of them looked at me like, look, our boss is totally making this up. I was left speechless. Lan Xiu didn't even flinch as she replied, of course we have it. She opened her desk drawer, then reached inside and pulled out a small glass bottle wrapped tightly with wire. There was pale blue liquid inside. Wait, isn't this... And Lin Nianian was about to speak. But Lan Xiu cut her off. It's a safe mental development serum. We call it Smith for short. The three of them never even lined up their stories. Right? It took me a while to finally say something. Well, I do want to buy it. But I'm broke right now. So I guess I'll have to pass. You don't have to worry about that. Lan Xiu raised the bottle, her voice clear and serious. Because it doesn't cost anything. Isn't this stuff poison or something? Is Lan Xiu trying to poison me or what? Do you really have to make it this complicated? But there's an extra condition. Lan Xiu kept going. Go ahead, what's the extra condition? I braced myself and played along with her. I know you don't want to sell the research lab, but there must be things inside you can sell, right? You can make a list of stuff that's up for sale. As long as you agree to do business with us, I'll give you this serum for free. Honestly, I was a little tempted. Not by that weird serum, but by her offer. Just a moment ago, I was worrying about not having any gold or silver from this era. Now Lan Xiu is just handing me an opportunity. So these three are scheming against me, just to get me to make money. I can sell you guys half the water and food from the lab. I offered right away. After all, the lab resets itself, and anything used up gets restocked the next day. Lan Xiu was pretty happy to hear that too. Their town doesn't actually lack food, but food is a basic necessity. If I run out of food, I'll have to buy it from them. Once that need shows up, they can work their way into getting more stuff from the lab. Thinking about that, Lan Xiu started smiling. She reached out and said, "Looking forward to working together." And when I thought about the lab's reset, I grinned too. "Looking forward to working with you." We both smiled, each with our own agenda. Yan Ji felt even more lost inside. What are these two even doing? Why are they so happy? And wasn't that little bottle a calming potion? Lan Xiu doesn't seem to care about getting caught at all. She just handed me the little bottle openly. "Mr. Xiaolin, wait downstairs for a bit. In a while, I'll have Lin Nianyan check the inventory with you. How do you use this?" I looked at the bottle with some doubt. "Just drink it straight. There won't be any side effects. It works in a few hours," Lan Xiu said casually. "I'm not planning to drink it now. I want to take it to the lab and test what's inside first. If it's fake, then forget it. If it's real, Professor Yu and the team can break it down." After my steps faded in the apartment hall, Yan Ji stayed silent for a long time. "Mr. Lan, a mental enhancement drug? Are you serious?" Lan Xiu glanced at him. She said, "Nianyan, you explain." Lin Nianyan immediately jumped in, putting on a serious face. "You don't get it, do you? It's called playing along with the scheme." Just thinking of Lin Nianyan explaining this to him, Yan Ji felt a bit awkward, but he still asked, "So what exactly did you do?" Actually, Zhao Lin isn't an awakened. He just has psychic powers like one. He's only hiding it for his own safety. He fooled us. Wait, if he's already psychic, why buy a psychic enhancer? Yan Ji got more confused. Because he needs a good excuse for having psychic powers. Lin Nianyan sounded sure of herself. So Mr. Lan just went with it and gave him a push, helped him finish the act. So basically, even if the drug is fake or real, now he's for real. Zhao Lin thinks he fooled us. But actually we fooled him. We're the ones with the upper hand. I think this is getting a little too complicated. Yan Ji felt his brain was about to short-circuit. I was sitting on the first floor, looking at the little glass bottle in my hand. The more I looked, the faker it seemed. With sci-fi drugs like this, shouldn't there be bugs or maybe eyeballs soaked in there or something? There's a high chance I'm being scammed. But getting tricked doesn't matter. What matters more is I can use this as an excuse to open my own sales channel and make some money. They think they're scamming me, but actually I'm playing them. I've got the advantage this time. The sky is always gloomy in this small town, so it's dark earlier. By the time I plan to go back to the lab, it's already dusk. I'm walking down the street, and Lin Nianyan is right next to me. She squints and looks me up and down, her eyes shining strangely. Her stare made me feel really awkward. I couldn't help but stop. "Do you have something to say?" Lin Nianyan adjusted her glasses, looking totally serious. "I'm really tight-lipped, so I won't tell you a thing." "Thank goodness for that. I thought you had something else to say." I let out a sigh of relief and hurried ahead. Lin Nianyan just couldn't hold back anymore. She quickly caught up and did a couple of fake coughs. "Actually, what I want to say is, Mr. Bai and Mr. Lan are both great. Our captain is awesome too. So it doesn't matter if you're awakened or not. I know you probably don't get why I said all that, but you're just doubting if I'm awakened, right?" I blurted it right out. Then I shot her a look. Do I look like someone with too much free time? Why would I even lie about something like this? Lin Nianyan pulled a walnut from her pocket and said, "Then help me crack this open." I looked at that king walnut and couldn't help but sigh. "What are you doing? Trying to set me up with that? I want to see how tough your mouth really is." My temples were throbbing. I almost wanted to turn this girl into a specimen, but Lin Nianyan just giggled, then suddenly changed the subject. She said, "Never mind, that's not important now. What I really want to say is that whether you're awakened or not, Mr. Zhao Lin, You're still our friend now. And, that's it. I let out a quiet sigh and said, "Oh, you seem really calm about this. I thought you'd be more touched. Maybe you're just not tempting enough. I don't need to tempt you, okay? Knowledge itself is the most attractive quality." Lin Nyanian pouted, clearly not happy. But to be honest, I was a little moved. Even if I don't know if she really means it. It's just, I'm not good at showing how I feel. As we joked around, we finally reached the edge of the town. A simple 3-story research center stood right in front of us. It's standing in the middle of some creepy, ruined area. But the lights are on. The night is getting darker and thicker. But it actually feels pretty comforting. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I took it out.
It means
My phone reconnected to the lab's internal network. I checked the time. It's 7 p.m. By the time we're done with inventory, it'll be late. When you finish the count, just crash at the research center tonight. It's too late to go back. It's not safe for you to go alone. Then I want some coffee. Lin Nyanian raised her hand. I was honestly surprised. The world is like this now. But there are still girls this naive. At least she's not tempting at all. I was about to put my phone away. But then, an endless stream of alerts suddenly went wild. I stopped on the spot. Because all these alerts are security warnings from the system. The security system doesn't sound off for nothing. Something must have happened while I was gone. Something must have happened. I opened one of the alerts. It switched to a surveillance video. There were some strangers outside the lab door, trying to open it. But after that, they left after a while. "Mr. Zhaolin, what's wrong?" Lin Nyanian asked. I didn't answer. Instead, I scrolled to the last alert and checked the timestamp. Last alert was just 5 minutes ago. My heart skipped a beat. I looked up. The ruins at night were dark and twisted, with exposed rebar and sticky flesh, like a dead animal's bones, not yet rotted away. "What is it, Mr. Zhaolin?" Lin Nyanian came closer and asked. I didn't answer, just grabbed Lin Nyan's arm and turned around to leave. "Lik Zhaolin." Lin Nyanian was lost. But we only walked a few steps when someone appeared in the distance heading toward us. He's wearing a long black coat, black gloves on his hands. He puts his fingers in his mouth and whistles. A sharp whistle echoes through the night. More figures show up. They walk out from the ruined, lifeless buildings. About a dozen of them. They slowly surround us. Each one has a weapon. Some have guns. Some have blades. I shield Lin Nyanian behind me. I say nothing. Just lock my eyes on that man. He doesn't care at all about my guard. A slight smile is on his face. "You're the owner of the lab, aren't you? We've been waiting for you. What do you want with me?" I raise my hand, protecting Lin Nyanian. I ask coldly, "We want to buy your lab. I'm not selling." Click, someone cocks a gun hard behind us. It's an old double-barrel shotgun. Totally a warning. Don't rush things. "Not selling?" The man starts to laugh. "I'll give you a lot of money." He raises a hand, holding a coin between his thumb and index finger. "How about a silver coin?" People around us laugh out loud. One coin weighs 20 grams. And silver is the base currency here. Before I could answer, Lin Nyanian behind me presses my arm. "I know you. You're Ling Yuan, right? You're the gravedigger from Yanggang. You made a deal in our town before." The man's face stiffens for a moment. "Miss Lin, you have a sharp memory. We only met once. And you still remember me. Are you interested in me or something?" That flirty joke doesn't make Lin Nyanian blush. She stands as tall as she can and says coldly, "Liang Yuan, let me warn you. Mr. Zhaolin is under our town's protection." So, Liang Yuan shrugs. "If you hurt him, you'll be our enemy. We won't supply you with water, food, or medicine anymore. And our mayor won't let you go. He's the agent for superhumans. You know how powerful he is. Gravediggers survive among ruins, usually wandering around, never settling down. They need to trade supplies in towns nearby. From time to time, satellite town trades with a lot of gravediggers, including Yanggang." "Wow, so scary." Lang Yuan makes an exaggerated face, then sneers. "But do you know when people go crazy the most? Money, piles and piles of money. You get it? The equipment in this lab could buy an entire city. Satellite town is nothing. So you better keep your mouth shut." or I'll kill you on the spot. Lan Yuan grins wickedly. Lin Nyanian is shaking a little, not sure if it's fear or anger. I say calmly, I can open the door for you, but with some conditions. You think you're in a place to bargain with us? I say calmly, 2 reasons why I can. First, you need the correct code to open the door, without agreeing to my terms. You won't get in anytime soon. Second, you can't tell what's valuable in the lab. Without my help. What? Gonna sell the gear as scrap metal? That barely gets you any money, to be honest. I don't really care if someone takes stuff from the lab. The lab resets itself, even if the equipment is gone.
It's all back again the next day.
What I worry about is you going back on your word. Looks like I got through. Lan Yuan's face turns dark. His voice is a bit rough. Fine, what are your terms? Let Lin Nyanian walk away. One say, no way. I'm not letting him call Zheng Yuan here. Lan Yuan refuses right away. I glance at Lin Nyanian. Injure his leg. Make him walk back on his own. That gives you 5 or 6 hours. Do whatever you want in that time. Lin Nyan shudders hard. His eyes fill with fear. The next second, Yang Yuan pulls out a pistol with no hesitation and shoots straight at his right leg. Bang, a gunshot rings out. Tearing and burning pain numbs Lin Nyanian's leg instantly. He falls down, but he doesn't cry, doesn't scream, just bites his lip, fighting not to cry. Miss Lin Nyanian, if you want to hate someone, hate him. Lang Yuan laughs. Now you can go. Take it slow. Lin Nyanian struggles to get up, dragging his bleeding leg, and slowly moves through the crowd.
He limps towards Satellite Town.
Not until Lin Nyanian is out of sight. Does Liang Yuan smile? Can we open the door now? I say nothing. I take out my phone and verify my fingerprint. Then enter the door code. A screeching noise blares out. The metal gate of the lab slowly rises. The passage is open. Liang Yuan starts to breathe fast. He excitedly takes 2 steps toward the lab, then turns to me, saying, time's ticking. Let's get to work. Don't try anything stupid. But right then, I hear someone load a gun. Bang, a sharp pain shoots through my leg. It forces me to kneel on the ground. The one who fired is a girl with a ponytail, holding a long knife. She looks tough and sharp, but her face is full of disgust. Xiao Yu, what are you doing? Even Liang Yuan didn't see that coming. The door's open. I'm killing him. We still need him. But before Liang Yuan finishes, the knife is already deep in my stomach. I don't care, she says coldly. What I hate most are idiots who think they're heroes. Saving the damsel, huh? Are you even close? She twists the knife hard. Her eyes are full of hate. Relax, we won't let that one go either. We'll get him back soon. And kill you right in front of him. Liang Yuan just sighs, but doesn't blame her. Xiao Yu, you really should work on that temper. Those fake nice guys don't deserve to live. They all deserve hell. Xiao Yu replies coldly. Liang Yuan shrugs at me, saying, sorry, I tried. But this girl's a bit stubborn. Can't control her. So you gotta deal with it. He waves his hand. We're heading in to move the stuff. Xiao Yu, remember, keep Lin Nyan alive as a hostage. We'll see about that. Right now, Lin Nyan is running as hard as he can. But he's running weirdly. He's barely faster than just walking. The bullet's stuck in his leg bone. Every time he steps on that leg, the bullet scrapes his bone, sending pain right through him. But Lin Nyanian can't care about pain right now. He's just full of regret and worry. He told me about the gravediggers. He knew they were trouble. But living under Mr. Land's protection, life's been so peaceful. He thought those people wouldn't actually attack. So he just mentioned it casually. If he wasn't so naive and so foolish, none of this would have happened. And I wouldn't be in danger now. Lin Nyanian tries to run even faster. Blood gushes from the bullet wound, creating a red line down his leg. Bang, a crisp gunshot rings out behind him. From the direction of the lab, Lin Nyanian freezes on the spot. Lang Yuan and his men won't shoot randomly. There's no need to fire either. That gunshot, it probably means something bad has already happened to me. Those lunatics, maybe they never intended to let them go from the start. Lin Nyanian covers her mouth. She forces herself not to cry. She quickly gets moving.
He didn't keep moving forward.
Instead, he staggered around and rushed into a nearby abandoned shack. He hid in a corner then pulled out his dagger, pressed it to his own throat. He knows once I'm dead, the grave diggers will hunt him down and take him hostage to threaten Blue Shiyu from taking revenge. But he'll never give them the chance. Lin Nianian grits her teeth. If he's found, he'll kill himself right away. Mr. Q Lan will definitely avenge them. His chest heaves up and down, his body shaking uncontrollably. But right then, another gunshot rings out. Why another shot? More gunfire erupts one after another. Now it's non-stop.
He vaguely hears people shouting.
Someone's yelling about an awakened. He is an awakened, out in front of the institute. Panic is spreading, but it's not about me. It's the grave diggers they're after. Because I jumped up and tackled Xiao Yu. One hand gripped his neck tight. The other hand raised the long blade that pierced through my chest. Xiao Yu's face turned pale and purple. He struggled hard, but he was getting weaker and weaker. He never thought in his life someone with a knife in their stomach could still move around. And the scariest part is, I don't even have a wound on my stomach. Don't kill me. Wait, don't kill me. I'm a girl too, he said with difficulty, eyes full of pain and tears. I stayed emotionless, raised the blade and stabbed hard into his mouth. A nasty slicing sound. The blade pierced his neck. Blood spread over the floor. Shoot, shoot. Kill him, Lian Yuan shouted loudly. All the grave diggers with guns started firing at me. Gunfire roared through the night sky. But the bullets hitting me did nothing. They weren't deflected. They didn't go through either. I could feel the impact, but it was totally useless. This isn't a physical or a mental superpower. It's like some strange or weird state. I grabbed the long blade from the ground, stood up in the hail of gunfire, and rushed straight for the big guy holding a shotgun nearby. Damn you, the big man cursed. But instead of backing off, he came closer and aimed the shotgun right at my head. Pulled the trigger. Boom. The shotgun hit me at point-blank range. My head snapped back. But that was all. I immediately straightened up. Not a scratch on my face. The big guy stood there in total panic. The next moment, I brought the blade down on his head. Blood streamed down his forehead. He collapsed onto the ground, dead on the spot. They kept shooting at me. Someone screamed in terror. Why won't he die? Why is he a monster? He's a monster. I ignored all the chaos, grabbed the shotgun, then turned to a tall, skinny young man nearby. Pulled the trigger. Boom! His body tore open and bled all over. He fell to the ground, howling in pain. Not totally dead yet, but there was no saving him. I spun and aimed at another person. Pulled the trigger. Boom! The head exploded. It was a total one-sided massacre. No one could hurt me. No one could stop me. By the fifth person, I turned the gun on Lang Min. Lang Yuan didn't back down. He roared in anger. His pupils suddenly glowed blood red. That light looked just like the blue glow I'd seen in awakened psychics. He was an awakened too. Lian Yuan reached low, then blasted off the ground, leaping at me like a beast. Boom! I fired at him point blank. Shotgun blasts filled the air. Almost every round hit Lian Yuan, but it didn't hurt him. Just sent some fragments flying.
His skin
turned hard as stone. I had no chance to fire again. Lian Yuan grabbed the shotgun barrel. The metal gun barrel instantly bent. I let go right away, punched Lian Yuan in the face. But this time my hand throbbed with pain. Before I could react, Lian Yuan kicked me in the shoulder. The force was insane. I flew into the air instantly and crashed to the ground. If I could get hurt, my bones would be broken for sure. But in the next moment, Lian Yuan grabbed the long blade and stabbed it deep into my heart, pinning me to the ground. So this is all you're capable of? You're nothing special after all. Lian Yuan knelt on my stomach.
His power left me no way to fight back.
Then he drew his sidearm, pressed it to my forehead, and fired. Bang, 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 bang. Shots close up, non-stop. Each bullet hit my head. Lian Yuan looked almost crazy, kept shooting till the ammo ran dry, then tossed the gun aside, and punched me hard again and again. Not dying, huh? Not dying. I don't believe you really can't die. Suddenly, he burst out laughing like a madman. Fine, you can't die. Now I can do whatever I want. Let's see if you'll die. But I know clearly, I'm not immortal. I just can't get hurt. There's a weird core inside me.
It's a perfect black sphere.
No light, perfectly still. Just darkness. Whenever I'm attacked, the core takes some damage. Right now, with Lang Yuan's crazy attack, it's being used up. But just then, I sense another core somewhere nearby. It's smaller, weaker, a few kilometers away from me. I think I've been there. Blue Shiu hasn't been resting. Right now, he's still reading reports on the mine incident. He's gone through them many times, hoping to find something new. Suddenly, something outside the window explodes quietly. A deep blue light shoots silently into the sky. Blue Shiu stands up and opens the curtains. Suddenly, his pupils dilated. He saw something he couldn't believe. The ruins where the satellite crashed. At this moment, a blinding blue light erupted in silence, like a moon fallen onto the earth, bright and cold, lighting up the entire center of the town. In the glow, those century-old ruins seemed to be reversing through time. The damaged structure was constantly repairing itself, turning into a dazzling silver white. The long-dead signals lit up one after another. The broken flaps slowly spread to the sides. A giant bird awakened, roaring to life. The ruins under the satellite suddenly collapsed. The massive satellite shot straight up into the sky. It took off at an unbelievable speed. The raging currents swept through the entire town. In a flash, it vanished into the sky. The thick clouds above were blasted open by the airflow, briefly revealing the pitch-black sky beyond. Lan Xiu stood frozen in shock. He felt overwhelmed. Suddenly, the door was flung open. It was Yanji who walked in. Mr. Lan, the satellite. I saw it. Lan Xiu tried to hide the shakiness in her voice. Sir, what on earth is going on? Lan Xiu shook her head. Then she suddenly remembered. Lin Nianian once said, I want to revive the satellite. Lan Xiu's hand suddenly had a white mask appear. Count the people right now. Send them to the research lab. I'll head over first. Meanwhile, Lian Yuan was full of fear, because me, who he used to easily overpower, suddenly turned strange. My eyes lost all light. They became pure black. I didn't react to anything he did. Lian Yuan couldn't make sense of this weird state. He felt like I wasn't even there anymore. It was like I left in some bizarre way. Kill you! Kill you! This baseless terror was driving Lian Yuan insane.
He swung his saber at me again and again.
But it did nothing to ease his fear. It only made him even more scared. No matter how hard he slashed, there wasn't a single cut on me. He pressed the blade against my neck. He could feel the blade pressing through. He watched it slice right through my neck. Even so, he still couldn't damage this body. It was like I was dead. Yet he just couldn't kill me. Like a shell completely outside the rules. So messed up it made you go crazy. Why won't you die? Die already. But the stronger his fear grew, he felt like something truly horrifying was about to happen. And just as Len Yuan thought, I wasn't even there. I was flying through the sky, blasting past the clouds at impossible speed, straight up to the heavens. The ground faded further and further away. My vision covered everything. One could see so far. I sensed everything, sky to earth. I saw the dim lights of the town, the weird creatures lurking in the ruins, and Lin Nianian shivering in a dark corner. Then I saw the research lab. I saw Lian Yuan and myself. A deafening roar ripped through the sky. Lian Yuan instinctively looked up. Terrified, he saw the clouds torn open, like they were instantly vaporized. A fiery ball shot through the gap. Empowered with supernatural force, Lian Yuan grew even stronger. But when he saw what that fireball really was, he froze. His eyes were full of disbelief. It was the satellite remnant from Satellite Town.
But now,
It was blazing with fire, cold, brand new, unscathed even at top speed. Next second, it flashed forward, just a blur, like a long red streak, drawn across the pitch-black sky. The line stretched down from the clouds, connecting to the ground below. Death had arrived. That was the last thought Lang Yuan had. Boom! The giant satellite crashed to the ground. Black smoke and a giant mushroom cloud soared up. A shockwave rippled in all directions. The nearby ruins were leveled. Huge clouds of black dust rose up. The moment the blast hit, anyone nearby was instantly burned up. Those farther away were shredded by the blast. Skin, muscle, and body fluids got scorched away. As for Lang Yuan, He was right at the center of the blast, face to face with that satellite. He let out a furious roar. And then his body was destroyed, completely gone. Where the satellite crashed, there was now a giant crater over 20 meters across. It stuck there at the center, tilted, shimmering with light, looking shiny and brand new, like a giant sword fallen from the sky. Flames, heat, scorched earth, and death. It was like everything burned and boiled. No one survived. Until 2 minutes later, I lay on the ground. The starry sky faded from my eyes. I slowly stood up, looking at the burning crater and the satellite in the flames. With each breath, scalding air rushed into my lungs, burning painfully. This was my first time killing someone in this world. But I felt nothing. Not happy or sad. Just silent. The core inside me stayed quiet, echoing with the one inside the satellite. As I thought about it, in the next moment, the satellite ignored gravity and shot back up to the sky, drawing a long streak again. Vanishes at the edge of the sky. That 20-ton satellite returned to orbit, up in the restricted zone outside the atmosphere. It silently watched the Earth. I closed my eyes, sensing the core inside me. So dark and quiet, but much dimmer now. Not just from Ling Yuan's attack, but also from flying the satellite and the blast impact. But I wasn't hurt. Didn't feel any pain or discomfort. I tried holding my breath, and I managed to. The hot air stayed out, and I felt perfectly fine. Holy crap. I think I might be kinda awesome now. I murmured to myself. I wonder if I could cover my head while sleeping from now on, and never worry about mosquitoes again. If a mosquito bit me, would it suck out blood? Or something way weirder? I forced myself to stop overthinking. Decided to look for Lin Nian first. That girl got shot. She's still stuck somewhere dangerous. It's really not good. Tonight I can help dress her wounds. Let her rest at my place. Lin Nianian curled up in a corner of the ruins, gripping a dagger tightly. Her palm was slightly sweaty. The shockwave from that huge explosion just now also hit this area. It kicked up small pebbles. They kept hitting her. Each strike stung again and again. But Lin Nianian didn't feel a thing. Her mind was filled with the roar just now. That blinding red light and the tremor of the ground. That definitely wasn't an attack from Liang Yuan. If Liang Yuan could do that, he wouldn't have become a gravedigger. Was Mr. Zhao Lin really not lying? Is he actually an extraordinary? But why didn't he show it from the start? If he had shown it right away, there wouldn't even be this whole conflict. And that attack method fell straight from the sky, cutting through the clouds. It looked like something powerful hidden high above was summoned and struck the ground. This kind of summoning ability was always unique to Wisdom City. There's no way Zhao Lin has mastered that. Lin Nianian was a mess inside. Should she go back to town first? Or look for me? She thought hard for a bit, finally made up her mind. She'd come to me first. That explosion just now should have grabbed the whole town's attention. And right now, maybe I really need help. But just as she was about to get up, Lin Nianian tensed up inside. She quickly held her breath, hoping whoever it was wouldn't find her here. But weirdly enough, the person walked straight toward her hiding spot, without stopping at all. Maybe it's me. She thought of that. Lin Nianian felt a bit relieved. But in the next second, that joy was extinguished immediately. No way it's me. The fighting just ended over there. How could I show up here right away? His alarm bells were blaring.
He gripped his knife tight, aiming at his own neck.
He kept thinking about what he should say first. Don't come any closer, or I'll kill myself right here. Or just get out. Stay away from me. Which line sounds scarier? Which one would freak them out more? Extreme anxiety made Lin Nianian's mind spiral out of control. The footsteps outside slowly stopped. Then, a hoarse, bone-chilling voice called out, "Lin Nianian, come out." Hearing that voice, Lin Nianian shivered first, then just went limp, not from fear or despair, but from total relief. That voice, carrying the weight of 800 deaths. He'd heard it before. Only Lan Xiu has a voice like that. He stood up from behind his hiding spot. A giant towering over 2 meters tall, stood in the rubble, wearing a black leather coat, with a pale ceramic mask, a sharp hook in his left hand, and a blood-stained axe in his right. You could just feel the pressure. Just like one of those killers on a stormy night, creeping around for victims. That's the power and title Lan Xiu got from Mr. Bai. Lin Nayan rushed over and hugged Lan Xiu, bawling. Lan Xiu quickly took off her mask, so her gear wouldn't hurt Lin Nayanian. Her clothes, weapons, and body size were quickly going back to normal. It's over, it's all over. Lan Xiu patted Lin Nayan's back, looked tenderly at her injured leg. Nayanian, tell me what happened first. Those gravedigger guys from Yongbang tried to rob Mr. Zhao Lin's lab. Mr. Zhao Lin agreed to help just to save me. And then a lot happened right after that. I still don't know if Mr. Zhao Lin's okay. He's still at the lab. Lin Nayan's eyes welled up with tears as she spoke. She started sobbing. Take a deep breath, Nayanian. It's okay, Zhao Lin will be fine. Lan Xiu softly comforted her, then glanced toward the lab. But those Yangbang people. He got cut off by Lan Xiu. Nayanian, that satellite came back to life. That's why I rushed here. That explosion just now was probably from it too. Lin Nayanian froze in shock. Suddenly, it all made sense. Mr. Zhao Lin really is extraordinary. Lan Xiu didn't answer directly. She just threw out a lame joke. I declare, our town is now called No Satellite Town. Lin Nayanian couldn't help laughing. Her tears turned to a smile. But I still want to check the lab. What if Mr. Zhao Lin needs help? Yeah, let's go check. But let's take it slow. Lan Xiu helped Lin Nayanian as they walked toward the road. Why? Lin Nayanian asked, confused. Gotta give him time to clean up, so we don't see anything we're not supposed to, Lan Xiu explained. But what if Mr. Zhao Lin is actually a bad guy? Then we really shouldn't look at his stuff. Lan Xiu smiled and ruffled Lin Nayanian's hair. Honestly, I don't have anything to hide. Right now. I was already on my way to find Lin Nayan. Then, in the dim street, I ran right into them, seeing me just standing there alive. Lin Nayanian got super excited. She let go of Lan Xiu right away, yelling for Mr. Zhao Lin, and ran over. Then, bum, she fell flat on the ground, rolling around holding her leg. I looked up and glanced at Lan Xiu. Lan Xiu rubbed her forehead. Guess that's kind of cute, right? Should we help her up? I said let her roll around a bit, let off some steam. Lin Nayanian's a bit like a weird little dog, but not that much energy. And honestly, I could tell. Lan Xiu ignored Lin Nayanian because she was being cautious with me. Want a smoke? Lan Xiu pulled out a metal cigarette case. She took out a cigarette. I'm good, I don't smoke. Not smoking is good. Lan Xiu chuckled softly, then lit the cigarette. What about that group that attacked you? All dead. You killed them? Yeah, I answered honestly. And the satellite? Did you blow it up again? I didn't say anything, just looked up. Suddenly, a thunderous roar from the sky. Clouds parted, and a blazing red light swept over the street. It hovered 20 meters above my head. A giant 15-meter-long hunk of metal spun slowly, its surface cold and silver, like a steel monster floating behind me. Fierce whines whipped Lan Xiu's coat. Lan Xiu was totally speechless. Lin Nayanian let out a shriek like a groundhog. It made Lan Xiu's face twitch hard. She tried to stay serious and keep asking about the situation. But Lin Nayan was wiggling in the weirdest pose, clinging to her, trying to get up, just wanted to stand. That's a real satellite. So cool. Mr. Zhao Lin, you really brought it back to life. Can I touch it? Just let me touch it? He stared at the thing, eyes sparkling. Nayanian, don't bump Mr. Zhao. Lan Xiu quickly warned. You know I am? If someone like me feels threatened, it might not end well. But before she finished, the huge satellite slowly lowered down, like a gentle giant beast, hanging right in front of Lin Nayanian. Lin Nayanian excitedly patted the satellite. Mr. Zhao Lin, you're amazing. Just as awesome as Mr. Bai. Hey, can I ride it? Just for a bit? My eye twitched. I knew I shouldn't have cut her any slack. All right. A couple pats is enough. Don't break it. I raised my hand, and the satellite started rising. Once it got to a safe height, it sped up suddenly. Strong winds roared. In no time, the satellite vanished into the sky. Lin Nayan looked up at the sky. She wrinkled her nose at me again. You're so stingy. I ignored his protest. Next time I'll let you play. But now come back to the lab with me. Let's treat your wound first. Yay. Lin Nian was super excited. But then Lan Xiu objected. Mr. Zhao Lin, you don't need to trouble yourself with this. I'll take him back to town for treatment. The lab is a bit closer, and I've got all the tools and meds there. It's just easier. That's too much trouble for you. We'll handle our own stuff. I could sense Lan Xiu's caution. And I get it. After all, just a regular person. And suddenly this kind of power shows up. Of course they're on guard. But I felt kind of helpless too. Mr. Lan, I know you don't trust me right now. But I've never lied to your sister. Lan Xiu's expression turned a bit stiff. That's true. From the start, I told you I was extraordinary. You just didn't believe me. You guys were the first people I met. After I arrived here, I looked at Lan Xiu calmly and kindly. You mean a lot to me. I never stab you in the back. Lan Xiu looked moved. She gave a small sigh and shook her head. Mr. Zhaolin, thank you for being honest. But this isn't a friendly world. You saw that today. Even if you do nothing, someone will still want you dead. That's just how this world is. Survival of the fittest. You're right. I did see it, I said calmly. But I still stick to my own rules and morals. Mayor, most of my life so far, I've been on the weaker side. Traditions and morals kept me safe. I won't betray myself. Just because the world is harsh, that would mean I'd never existed. Lan Xiu stayed quiet. She looked down at her cigarette, then put it out. Mr. Zhaolin, I actually do trust you. But now I have to be careful around you. Because you're extraordinary. He put the rest of the cigarette back in the pack. You're a lot like Mr. Bai. I think the two of you would get along. So, does that mean I can? Lin Nianian blinked. I'll come with you guys, Lan Xiu replied. Nianian needs to get treated anyway. I'll take care of the inventory. I remembered our deal. So I nodded and said, sure, that's fine. Otherwise, Lin Nianian might wreck my place. Lin Nianian protested again, but nobody paid him any mind. The three of us walked down the street toward the lab. Even with a leg injury, Lin Nianian kept chatting nonstop. He talked about how scared he was hiding in the ruins, up until Lan Xiu found him. And so on, and so on. I suddenly got curious. So, how could you instantly recognize your mayor? As someone with cognitive disarray syndrome, it's hard to even tell if something's human, let alone spot a specific person. Lin Nianian explained proudly. That's where you're wrong. It's all about features. I just memorize one unique feature of theirs. As long as I see that, whatever shape they take, I know it's them. I nodded at first, but then realized something was off. Wait, how do you know that feature is unique? And that it can't be faked? And what if the feature changes or disappears? I can't know. Lin Nian was totally open about it. I give up. How did you even survive this long? Funny enough, I have no idea either. Lin Nianian tilted his head and said, I was still thinking about what he meant. Lan Xiu spoke up with an answer. Lin Nianian lost his memory. That's not amnesia. It's called memory encryption. Lin Nianian said seriously. Memory encryption. I got more confused. Lin Nianian explained. Someone encrypted his memory and told him to wait here until they came back. So he waited 5 years. After 5 years, can Lin Nian still recognize them? Lan Xiu seemed to expect my question. His expression was hard to read. Shouldn't be too hard. He said the person has 7 centipede legs, 6 eyes, and a pair of mastiff-like arms. Hold up, are you sure this is a human? I was shocked. But Lin Nianian nodded confidently. I know he looks different from you guys, but he totally meets the human definition. And he's a really good person. Maybe he's just a rare type we haven't seen. Lan Xiu guessed. History is twisted after all. No wonder we don't get it, I said. No way. Human evolution is super recent, and our genes are almost identical. Humans shouldn't vary that much. Lan Xiu looked at me and spoke softly. Mr. Zhaolin, how do you know? The history you know is the real one, and not twisted too? I couldn't answer right away. By the way, Mr. Zhaolin, remember, the internet? Lin Nianian suddenly asked excitedly. Of course I do. No way, I'll forget it anytime soon. I answered. One goal of the internet was to figure out real history. Lin Nianian looked amazed. People in Smart City wanted to merge all human knowledge online. and use massive computing power to find real history? Isn't that awesome? Smart city. You talked about that yesterday too. I recalled. Yeah, it's a super city. The mayor is a second-gen extraordinary. Really powerful. But their bar for entry is crazy high. You gotta have tons of knowledge. Or computer power. Basically, smarts. Or you'll never get an invite. I glance at Lin Nyanian with pity. She won't stand a chance. She's not the brightest. Obviously. Lan Xiu replied coolly. You too. Lin Nyanian huffed. We got back to the lab. The two men got to work. Lan Xiu checked the food supplies. I took Lin Nyanian to the infirmary for his gunshot wound. Back at the lab, I was trained in emergency trauma care. The infirmary has all the medical equipment you need. For me, this task wasn't hard. I took out the bullet, bandaged the wound, and gave her some painkillers. I watched the girl fall asleep. Once she was asleep, I left the infirmary to find Lan Xiu. At that moment, Lan Xiu was standing among a bunch of boxes in the warehouse. He was quickly writing in a notebook with a pen. He heard some noise outside the door, but he didn't look up. He just casually mentioned packaged food, cigarettes, alcohol, and canned goods. Mr. Zhaolin, items like these in our small town are really rare and valuable. But there's a slight issue. What issue? I wondered. Their 200 years expired. The whole mood went quiet. After a while, I finally spoke. Is Lin Nyan with you, Mayor Lan? Lan Xiu's eyes twitched a little. I just wanted to tell a joke, to lighten things up. Is this supposed to be some kind of cute moment? Like that unexpected cute vibe? Well, Mayor Lan, you are kinda cute. Suddenly, the silence got even deeper. Then we just both silently dropped the topic. Lan Xiu coughed a couple of times. I've pretty much finished checking what's in the warehouse. I marked the stuff we want inside. You can use it as a reference. Alright, I'll take a look first. I took the list. Lan Xiu didn't choose any cigarettes or alcohol. It was all food with the biggest supply. And canned goods. But I didn't really care. After all, tomorrow all this stuff will just grow back on its own. I glanced over the list. I said, sure, all of this is fine. How much can we get for this? 30 standard silver coins. Each one weighs 20 grams. If you want, I can exchange some for single-gram silver pieces. Basically, silver beans. But they're a hassle to carry. You can use a box to hold them. Wait, you mean? I'm really surprised. Weren't they all supposed to be authentic? Lan Xiu just shrugged helplessly. Don't look at me like that. They're real, sure. But it's just food in the end. And we're not short on food or supplies. 30 standard silver coins is already a high price. I don't think Lan Xiu is lying. I could only sigh. Alright, 30 silver coins then. No need for change. Great, deal's done. Lan Xiu started grabbing the stuff she wanted and took them down from the shelf. I helped take the boxes from her and set them by the warehouse door for now. Mr. Zhaolin, actually, I think you misunderstand this world a bit, Lan Xiu said while carrying boxes. Even though the world's a mess, productivity hasn't dropped. It's actually way up. For example, super cities like Justice City and Wisdom City have production power stronger than a whole country. And if you head north through the city ruins, you'll reach Yan City. That's where our Blue Dragon Mining Company is based. It's a big modern city, great transportation, super convenient life. You can even buy Mixu ice cream and tea on the street. Mixu ice cream and tea? That familiar name really stunned me, but it helped me snap out of it a little. The world may be a mess, and order is gone, but it's nowhere near the apocalypse yet. I might be the only one who's seen what's really coming. When Lin Nyan opened his eyes, he screamed at what he saw, because right nearby on an operating table, a few people in blue scrubs, wearing masks, were dissecting something. The tray next to them was full of fresh blood and torn organs they dug out. It was honestly terrifying. But Lin Nyanian's yell didn't bother them. He slowly calmed down and carefully asked, you guys, who are you? Mr. Zhaolin. But they just ignored him. He carefully got out of bed, limped to the operation table, and finally saw it was a charred, shattered corpse. Isn't that one of those gravedigger corpses? Lin Nyan recognized it. Hey, what are you doing? Nobody answered him. They just talked among themselves, their voices to Lin Nyanian. Sounded like some weird buzzing. Lin Nyanian reached out to touch them, but his hand went right through their bodies
He slowly got calm.
and started really looking at them. They're a lot like me. Most of their data matches humans, but some key data are different. Like you can't actually touch them, and they can't see themselves. Like a kind of human subtype. His fear slowly faded away, and curiosity took over. Lin Nyanian left the group, opened the door and walked out of the infirmary. No one even noticed him leave. It was like he didn't exist. The hallway outside was brightly lit, with lots of people around. It looked really busy. Lin Nyanian started to realize, maybe this is what the lab used to be like. He was super curious, but had no idea where to go. So he just wandered around based on memory. Eventually, he ended up in the first floor living area. Then he saw another familiar spot, the juice bar he'd just visited 2 nights ago. Lin Nyanian carefully opened the door and walked in. Not many people in the juice bar. Only 5 or 6. The lady boss was stunningly beautiful. She was wearing a classic blue-purple dress. Her long black hair held up with a hairpin, playing a guqin by the counter. The music was smooth and gentle, soft and really pretty. It just left Lin Nyanian kind of stunned. He instinctively sat on a high stool beside the counter and quietly watched her play. She really was captivating, so elegant and incredibly talented. Couldn't take my eyes off her. Not sure how much time passed. But the music faded to something even softer, and then stopped. She put down the instrument. The lady boss looked up at Lin Nyanian and gave him a smile that made his heart race. Well, did you like it? Lin Nyanian blushed and said it was beautiful. Then he suddenly realized, you can see me here. Of course I can see you. She plucked a string lightly. My name's Zhao Mingyu. I'm the lady boss here. What about you, Lin Nyanian? Zhao Mingyu eyed him with interest, like she was watching a little animal. You're a psychic, right? And a pretty powerful one. Otherwise, you wouldn't sense this place. I'm totally normal, and no idea why I'm here either. Lin Nyanian didn't know what to say. Miss Zhao, how come no one else can see me? Because you're just passing through, and not part of this story. Whose story? Zhao Lin's story. Mr. Zhao Lin. But why can you see me? Zhao Mingyu smiled warmly, kind of mysteriously. Maybe because I'm special too. Such a weird answer. Made the conversation a little awkward. So, what's your relationship with Zhao Lin? Zhao Mingyu cupped her chin and asked. We're friends, kind of. He just moved to our town, and I kind of like him. He's a really good guy, and very capable, said Lin Nyan. Well, as long as you like him. Zhao Mingyu squinted, smiling. But don't get too close to him. Why? Lin Nyanian was confused. Why's that? Zhao Mingyu looked at the ceiling absent-mindedly and said softly he chose a really long road. A road with no end. One where you can never reach the goal. Lin Nyanian kinda understood. Oh, right. Lin Nyanian. There's one more thing. Zhao Mingyu looked at him with a gentle smile, like coaxing a child. Don't ever tell Zhao Lin about our talk today. If you do, I'll kill you and destroy your town. It sounded like a threat, but she said it super gently. Lin Nyan looked a bit uneasy. Relax. Zhao Lin and I are old friends. I won't hurt him. Zhao Ningyu blinked. Oh, you want to try some coffee? It's really good. At that moment, in Yu Taizhou's office, I told him what happened yesterday. Yu Taizhou listened, looking both worried and helpless. I just shrugged it off with a smile. No matter what. At least it ended well. But I'm really curious. What exactly is this extraordinary power I have? Yu Taizhou furrowed his brows slightly, looking deep in thought. Immortal consciousness transfer. Resurrect things. 3 basic traits, right? Not true immortality, technically. It drains you when you're attacked. How many cores do you have out now? 2 satellites and the Research Institute. When they're running, do they use up your core's energy? Yeah, but just to maintain them. It doesn't take much. But if you control them or move your mind there, it drains much more. But the core can repair itself. I see. Now it's all clear to me. Yu Taizhou spoke as if it was obvious. I'm not surprised. This old guy always thinks things through, while others are still focused on the surface.
He's already figured it out.
Yu Taizhou rested his elbow on the table. His eyes were deep. You remember that extraordinary training, right? Of course, I nodded. The 3-step extraordinary training. Step 1 is to build complete self-awareness. Step 2 is creating a complete body, and step 3 is about fusing with matter. Here's where the answer is. Yu Taejo said, when you enter the dream state, your body isn't the original one anymore, but the one you created in your dream. That one just popped up out of nowhere. Something beyond life and matter. It's not even a living being, so naturally it can't be killed, or hurt, or disabled. Any attack on you, you can see it as just draining your essence. I was stunned for a bit before I finally got it. So basically, I'm like a video game character now. As long as my health bar isn't empty, even with just 1 HP left, I can jump around fine. Yeah, and you can survive extreme environments too. Because no matter the damage type, only one thing happens: drain. You should have said so earlier. I'd have understood right away. I joked. Yu Taejo shot me a look and said, you really need to get the basic theory straight. Today I'll write you a full analysis. Read it carefully later. Got it. I promised right away. Yu Taejo smiled warmly and continued, also, this power is huge. Don't go using it recklessly. I suddenly smiled. Yu Taejo coughed a couple times. I know it's a bit cliché to say it like this, but actually that's not what I'm smiling about. I wiped my face, took out a file folder, and pulled out some documents. Handed them to Yu Taejo. Yu Taejo went silent as soon as he saw the first page. It was a photo showing the shell of that massive pig-shaped steel creature. I continued, and about my friend. Yankee, he could wipe out a city of 500,000 in less than 30 minutes. For 500,000 people, even with a knife, if I kept slashing. It'd take me at least a month. So my extraordinary power, I guess it's better than nothing. Yu Taejo's face twitched a bit. Is that world really that wild? There's wilder stuff, like psychic internet and history distortion, all in this file. You can check it out. Yu Taejo immediately pulled out the file and started reading. He was absorbed in it in no time. Didn't say a word after that. I'm pretty used to it. Sometimes I wonder if he has a reading obsession or something. I watched him reading intently, his graying hair, and his wrinkled eyes. Then, in the calmest voice, as if talking about the weather, I said, by the way, Professor, I've changed my mind. I'll do it. What was it again? Yu Taejo asked casually. Saving the world. I want to give it a shot. Closing that stone door. Yu Taejo suddenly looked up. His Adam's apple moved up and down. His pupils shook a little. Xiaolin. He wanted to say something, but then dropped his head in shame. Xiaolin, I really appreciate your decision, but sadly, I have nothing more to offer you. I know, but that's exactly why I'm helping you. I smiled even though I hadn't agreed. Yu Taejo still helped me without holding back. Now that I agreed. Of course, nothing's really changed. I figured that already. But, Professor Yu, I can't promise anything. I'll just do my best. I added. That's enough. That's all I need. Yu Taejo replied softly. In the next few hours, Yu Taejo started holding meetings with all the departments and assigning tasks. With nothing to do, I headed to the lounge bar. When I got there, only Zhao Ningyu was there. She looked nice today, carefully maintaining an old Guqin. Why is no one here today? I asked. Zhao Mingyu squinted, smiling a little. Guess. There's no way I could guess. I muttered and sat at the bar. That's because your beloved Professor Yu dragged all my guests to work. Zhao Mingyu looked up, giving me a pitiful look. It's just you here with me now. That gave me goosebumps. Don't be like that. My knees are weak now. Zhao Ningyu giggled, then switched topics. Oh, by the way, Professor Yu told us about our situation. Yeah, at the all-hands meeting, he said. We're basically a bunch of wandering souls now. Zhao Ningyu sounded totally flat. I paused. So how did everyone react? Pretty mixed. After all, asking a bunch of wandering souls to save the world. It's just weird. But in the end, everyone gave in. Why? I wondered, aren't they afraid of dying? They're more afraid of not being able to think. Or learn. I was speechless. I should have seen that answer coming. Just didn't expect it. Then Zhao Ningyu looked up. Her gaze was gentle. So you finally agreed to help Yu Taejo save the world. How'd you know that? Maybe I'm just good at reading people. Or just guessed. But I'm really curious. Why did you agree? You must know. It's impossible to do it alone. In my mind, I remembered Yu Taejo's deformed corpse. Back in the real world, I suddenly spaced out. Honestly, I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I'm still young, still have some fire. Things can still move me for no reason. And I know better than anyone.
It's impossible to pull off.
But I just thought, if I'm going to die anyway. Early the next morning, I looked at the 200-page report in my hand and just felt my scalp tingle. Initial thoughts and possible uses for supernatural powers. Satellite Interface Manual 1.0, so simple even a monkey could use it. Basic theories on internet structure. And also from the medical research team, a report on tests for a calming drug. Plus a preliminary dissection report on espers. Sometimes I can't help but marvel at those academic geniuses. How can their brains be this sharp? But luckily, I don't have to understand all this. Yu Taejo told me. Just understand what you can. The first thing is to get the satellite running right. This would usually take tons of technical knowledge. But for me, I don't need it. Because I can control the satellite and lab with my mind. I can even make the satellite do impossible things. Like fight gravity and float forever. So this morning, I've been tinkering with it all along. Around 11 a.m., Lan Xiu walked in, brushed some dust from his jacket. Mr. Zhaolin, aren't you going to handle that big hole outside? It rains a lot here. If you leave it, it'll turn into a pond. Wouldn't be convenient to go out then? I'd like to fix it, but I don't have the materials. I said while fiddling with the computer and turning around. If needed, I could have some guys at the quarry bring over leftover rocks. Would that bother you guys? I looked at him. Of course not. We're always figuring out where to pile the rocks. If not for that hole, we'd probably have to haul them even farther. That'd be a big help, thanks. I thanked him sincerely. All right, one more thing you should know. Lan Xiu pulled out a chair and sat down. That shipment we got yesterday, it's gone today. My heart skipped a beat. So that means the reset event in the lab, when triggered, forces any stray items to come back. Didn't expect that to be a thing. And Lan Xiu isn't stupid. He's probably figured out it had something to do with me. There was a moment of awkward silence. How about I just return the 30 silver coins? Lan Xiu chuckled softly. That's not what I meant. I was just worried it was part of some experiment. So I'm just telling you the result. As for those 30 silver coins, just take them as a welcome gift. I breathed a sigh of relief and silently scratched the idea of making money by selling off resources. Then I suddenly thought, if Liang Yuan had really stolen my stuff yesterday, that would have been kind of funny. Too bad they're dead now. Oh, right. Mr. Lan, was there something you needed this morning? I finally remembered to ask. Lin Nianian wrote me a note. She wants me to take her home. She's packing up now. Lan Xiu replied. That quick? I thought she'd stick around longer. I don't think so. I thought she'd mooch for half a month. Lan Xiu joked. Right then, my equipment beeped. I turned to look. Sync already hit 100%. Satellite is online. Just waiting for confirmation. Mr. Zhaolin, what are you working on? Lan Xiu asked, curious. The satellite. I said satellite. Lan Xiu repeated, still confused. And it's working now? I pressed the confirm button. Next moment, the main screen in the satellite control room lit up. A huge live satellite map popped up on the display, covering the lab town and the city ruins, plus a same-sized area surrounding the city. For a second, Lan Xiu was completely blown away. He almost dropped his water glass. This is a satellite map, he muttered. He knew about the tech, but it's exactly 'cause he knows it. That makes it even more mind-blowing. That's right. I linked Deep Space Eye to the ground control room. Now it's running like normal. I raised my hand, trying to use Essence to control the satellite. Essence is the name Professor Zhou gave it. I think it fits. Satellite cam zoomed in, locked onto Satellite Town. The entire area shown in detail. Buildings packed close together, crisscrossing roads, and dust everywhere. All of it crisp and clear on the screen. Then it zoomed in again. This time, right onto the block in front of the government building. On the government building, the Landlong mining flag is flying high. You can see every pedestrian on the street, even the workers chatting out front, by the entrance with their colleagues. Whoa, I thought the satellite was just for dropping bombs, Lan Xiu muttered. His eyes went wide. A little scared, even. He knows what this means. Total map visibility and absolute intel advantage. It means I know where everything is, and exactly what the enemy is doing. That's a strategic game changer. Way scarier than just bombing people from space. I gave him a weird look. It's a satellite, you know. Using it to drop things is just misuse. Okay, fine, I did use it to drop something yesterday. But unfortunately, it's got a range limit. It can't go too far from me. Lan Xiu nervously swallowed. He suddenly got tense. Mr. Xiaolin, can I buy 2 satellite maps? One of the whole area, one of the town. You name the price. I looked at him and said calmly, we're neighbors, and this has no real cost. I can just print you 2 maps. Lan Xiu froze, then quickly bowed in thanks. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much this means to us. High-risk maps are crucial for their security, work, and daily life. A really important resource, honestly. Just then, Lin Nianian hobbled over, still leaning on a crutch. Mayor, I'm ready.
He poked his head in and said,
I teased him as I looked over. Why leaving so soon? I was worried you'd start freeloading. Well, I discovered your huge secret, but I won't tell, Lin Nianian said seriously. Oh, thanks for not telling me. This time, I'll hold back. But I still like you, so I'll be dropping by all the time. Lin Nianian said firmly, whatever you want. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Oh, right, I left you some cigarettes and books. If you have any problems, just write to me anytime. After Lin Nianian and Lan Xiu left, I was the only one left in the room. I sighed softly, glanced at the thick stack of reports on the table, thinking I'll be super busy these next few days. A city trapped in a massive net, ruined and gloomy, but with a strange kind of majesty. Madman's Trench. That's what this city's ruins are called. It's seen big battles between the awakened. More than one awakened has died here. Most of their bodies have been split up or destroyed, but even now, their deaths still affect this city, reshaping its look and ecosystem, including the people and things here. There's a term for this phenomenon. It's called degeneration. Different powers cause different types of degeneration. Each one is unique. Here in Madman's Trench, there's a rule. If one day your buddy suddenly gets smarter, or suddenly knows a lot of stuff, don't hesitate. Kill him right away, because that's a sign of degeneration. And that's where Madman's Trench got its name. Mad scholars curse everyone who walks on this broken land with their knowledge. As a huge city ruin, Madman's Trench has lots of grave diggers roaming around. Some are criminals. Some are adventurers, some just chasing freedom. Sometimes all three. They form gangs in these silent ruins, built factions, chasing wealth and freedom. Most of the time, they don't bother each other.
But
Today, some weirdo showed up in the ruins. He came from Satellite Town, dressed cleanly, all by himself. Almost no weapons on him. Just an old town sword he calls a weapon. And it looks pretty shabby. But aside from his weapon, he's dragging a bunch of random stuff around. Umbrella, water, food, and a sleeping bag. And a camera around his neck. Sometimes he'd stop and take pics all excited. He basically looks like a tourist in a scenic spot. How long do you think he'll last? High up on a broken building, a chubby middle-aged man squatted on the edge, watching that strange guy down below. If he turns back now, maybe he survives. Otherwise, if he keeps going this way, the skinny guy next to him looked toward the city. He'll be dead by noon tomorrow at the latest. No way he lives. That camera looks expensive. Bet, it's worth a lot, the chubby guy said, wobbling as he spoke. Wait till he's dead. Then loot it from his body, the lanky guy said coolly. Or we could do it another way. The fat guy showed a creepy grin. Soon it was 6 p.m. Night spread fast over the ruins. I looked out at the deep city and decided to camp here tonight. This was my first time doing field research. I'd left at 8 o'clock this morning. I'd been hiking for almost 10 hours now. Still haven't reached my target. Gotta go deeper. Honestly, I don't need sleep anymore. The only reason I still sleep is to get to that research institute in my dreams. I found a half-collapsed house, cleared out a flat spot inside, and made a hard camp space, lit a fire, and started making dinner. Brought a small pot and bottled water, planning to make instant noodles. But just as the water boiled, I heard someone behind me. Whoa, bro! You're living pretty good. I turned around and saw two guys, one fat and one skinny, coming my way. The fat one talked. He squinted, looking all friendly, but had a gun, a revolver, pointed at the ground, but could shoot me with barely a lift. Actually, I wasn't surprised to see them, because I'd already spotted them on my satellite map. They weren't tracking me. My route just happened to cross their patrol area. That's why I camped here. Them hanging around here means there's nothing nearby they can't handle. So I'm probably safe too. I opened my ramen pack slowly, tossed the noodles in, and then said, "Can I help you with something?" I didn't sound cold, but not exactly friendly either. "Nothing, just saw you camping here. Thought we'd check it out." The fat guy acted all buddy-buddy. "Aren't you gonna introduce yourself?" "No need. Introducing myself to a dead man is pointless." The fat guy shrugged, trying to read me, but I didn't react at all. Instead, I pulled an egg out of my backpack, cracked it on the pan, dropped it in, then grabbed some veggies and sprouts I'd prepped, dumped them all. "It makes the noodles taste better." He swallowed hard, then poked my leg with his gun. "Hey man, let's make a deal. I like your camera. That's for work, not for trading." I turned him down nervously. "Your camera for your life. Isn't that fair?" The fat guy leaned in and tried to act mysterious. "Good thing. I have lots of lives." I shook my head. The chubby guy froze, then smirked. "Guess I'll just take it off your corpse tomorrow." "Oh yeah, when you die tomorrow. Kindly toss your camera far away. Don't want it damaged." I wasn't gonna say anything else. Just stirred my noodles with chopsticks, added in a sausage, then asked, "Want some?" The fat guy looked awkward. Just then, the skinny guy finally spoke. "A few kilometers ahead. That's the magician's turf. If you don't want to die badly, don't go any further." The fat guy clicked his tongue. "What's up with you?" "I thought we were trading info for stuff. Why'd you spill right away?" "We lost big there." But the skinny guy just glanced at him and said nothing. Then I said, "I know. Actually, my goal is to hunt that guy."
Hunt?
Magic Fatty looked a bit stunned. "Yeah, you could call it a little experiment. And to take care of this trouble at the same time." After a brief silence, the fat guy suddenly slapped his leg and burst out laughing. "Man, you're hilarious. I thought you were just a rookie. Turns out you're an idiot." The skinny guy said coldly, "There were people like you before, even stronger than you, with better gear. But now they've all been dead for a long time. That guy, even those espers from Satellite Town, won't mess with him, including Blue Shade." I still didn't react much. I just nodded. "Thanks for the warning, but I'm confident." Fatty was a little annoyed. "So what are you gonna use against the magic guy? Just that toy of yours?" I glanced at the tang sword beside me and said, "That's enough. Honestly, for me, melee weapons are actually easier to use than guns, because cold weapons can carry my essence better. If I use firearms, I'd have to distribute my essence into every single bullet. That's complicated and wastes a lot of energy. But a tang sword is a slashing weapon. Swinging matches human instinct more than stabbing. It's simpler and hits harder, so that's why I chose it." Fatty was getting impatient because of me. "Forget it, whatever. Kind words can't stop a dead man from dying. Let's go." He stood up, tucked his revolver into his waistband. "You guys really don't want some?" I asked again. "We don't eat the food of the dead." Bad luck, leaving those words. The two of them quickly vanished into the night. I didn't care where they went. I ate and then went to sleep. Turns out, no matter where I sleep, I can always return to the lab in my dreams. It was just another ordinary night. Next morning, 7 a.m. I got up on time, ate breakfast and got my stuff ready, then set out. If things go smoothly, I should be able to find Magic Guy before noon today. When I walked out from my hiding place, the two gravediggers from last night were standing on top of a building. I didn't say hi to them, just glanced back once, then walked alone deeper into the city. Did he really not hear a word we said? "We're the clowns now. Fatty squatted down. Sounded a bit annoyed. He's just self-destructing. Skinny spoke calmly. If I'd known he was this dumb, should have just stolen all his stuff last night. No water, no food. Maybe he would have just gone back. Fatty sighed. Enough, Skinny said coldly. Turned and raised the binoculars. Like he never even complained. Better just focus on the job. Maybe it's because I didn't listen. The mood turned a bit heavy. Neither spoke for a long while. Just stood up high, watching the area. That's their job. Keep watch. Warn us if anyone suspicious comes. A few minutes later, Skinny frowned a bit, picked up the binoculars and looked in one direction. Someone's coming. Fatty grabbed his binoculars too, looked east. Looked that way. A group of about 10 people were approaching. Leading the way was a guy around 40, Yang Hurricane, and his guys from the Yang Gang. Looks like they're coming for us, Fatty said. Didn't Yang Gang just get hammered by Satellite Town a few days ago? Lost a lot, right? Why are they still out here? Aren't they scared of Satellite Town retaliating? Skinny frowned a bit. Who knows? Yeah, they're definitely here for us. You watch here. I'll go tell Boss Shen. Fatty showed surprising agility, leaped across the rooftop despite the complex layout, and quickly disappeared. Skinny didn't say anything. He instinctively glanced where I vanished, then started reporting on the group's movements. 2 hours later, I finally reached my destination, District 13. This neighborhood looks just like the others. A blue street sign nearby shows the number 13. But the difference is, that sign and the wall next to it, and the ground below, are all covered with thick, scarlet warning graffiti, warning people to stay away. The sight was a bit creepy. District 13 is the lair of the Hemo. That terrifying abomination has killed countless gravediggers. And for its victims, death is almost the best outcome. So even the most experienced gravediggers won't come near here lightly. I ignored the warnings, pushed aside the board blocking the street, and went in. It didn't feel like hell inside. Actually, it seemed even cleaner here. No gang markings anywhere. No wooden walkways or ladders built up. Even seemed quieter than usual. I pulled out my phone, opened the live satellite map, tried to track Himo on it. But the buildings are so dense around here. Webs everywhere. I stared at the tiny phone screen until my eyes got sore. Still didn't find anything. I felt a bit helpless. Decided to look around the district first. Maybe I'd catch Humo's attention and make him come for me. Just then, I saw it. A big domed building 2 streets away. It really stood out from the others nearby. A huge ruined billboard hung from it. Half of it had collapsed. Train cars stuck out of the dome at weird angles. Pretty dramatic scene. That's when I remembered. I'd actually been here before crossing over. That domed building is Chiangxiang Mall in Yanzhou. My first day in this city. I bought clothes there. The mall inside is way bigger than a normal apartment block. Could Humo's nest be in there? I muttered to myself. Decided to go check it out. But as soon as I turned a corner, I suddenly stopped. I saw someone. Or at least it looked like a person. Human shape, arms and legs. Completely naked, curled up, squatting in the shadows of a building. Body covered in numbers, symbols and letters. But I knew no real human would be here. I frowned a bit, carefully took a few steps closer. Started to feel creeped out. That thing is not human. Not at all. He has no genitals, no body hair, and all those numbers and symbols covering him aren't drawn on. They're growing out from his body. His skin is all lumpy, covered in dense scabs. He seemed completely out of it. Didn't notice me at all. Just squatted there, kept smashing his head into a chunk of rubble. It was a chunk of concrete with steel rebar, with a piece of rebar sticking out about 4 inches. The guy just slammed into that rebar over and over. Every time he hit, the rebar jammed into his forehead, making this dull sound. But he didn't seem to feel pain, just quietly muttered empty words. Stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about it. An abomination. I remembered what Lin Nyanian told me. People affected by abominations slowly mutate, lose their minds.
Honestly.
Even though I was prepared, seeing this with my own eyes still freaked me out. Goosebumps popped up all over my arms. A few deep breaths later, I calmed myself, decided to snap some photos. I squatted down, set up my camera, aware that thing might react suddenly. I turned off the flash, set the shutter to be extra quiet. A faint click, barely audible. Camera captured the scene. But in the next second, the abomination stopped smashing its head, slowly turned to look at me. Its eyes were bloodshot. Forehead had a bloody cone-shaped hole. Looked like it went all the way into its brain, full of rotting flesh. It stared at me, suddenly smiled this freaky smile. While laughing, it started whispering fast. At first I couldn't make out the words. Then I really listened, and finally heard it. It said, I see him. 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 I saw him. The next moment his body suddenly went stiff. His eyes rolled back. All that was left was the whites. The hole in his forehead started to squirm. An eye appeared from inside the hole. It's like someone was peeking through the hole in this mutant's head, watching me from behind. When that eye saw me, the pupil shrank a bit. Then the eye pulled back. Right after that, a bony hand shot out from the bloody hole. Something was coming through that bloody hole in its head, right here. I can barely describe what I'm seeing. First, a hand reaches out from the bloody hole. Then a second hand. Those hands grip the edge of the hole. Then their owner slowly climbs out from the center. This is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. A 1-meter tall monster, squeezing itself out of a fist-sized hole. First the head, then the shoulders, then the body and legs, until it's all the way out. It's shaped like a human, wearing a white lab coat, but its body is gray and extremely thin. And the creepiest thing is its head. It's a red leather-bound hardback book, standing open on its neck like a display. The pages are full of eyes, packed together. Those eyes are all staring right at me. I didn't have to think too hard. I already knew exactly what this thing was. The Will Mage. Even though I know this guy would probably find me anyway. I never expected it to show up like this. This entrance is just way too wild. I don't dare let my guard down, but I can't make a move either. I unclip my backpack straps and let it fall to the ground. Then I slowly draw my tang saber from my belt. The smooth white blade glimmers with a soft, gentle light. This isn't just some normal weapon. Last night, I made it in the materials lab. It wasn't forged the usual way, but printed using 2-photon 3D printing. Printed in one solid piece. That's a super precise micro-nano 3D printing tech. The material is an advanced ceramic composite. It's hard enough to hit 40 GPa. Kind of brittle, but way sharper than regular metal blades. Wait, why am I thinking about this now? I look up. The next instant, everything around me floods into my mind. Ruined buildings, plants, abandoned cars. Their colors, shapes, and details, all cramming into my head. I realize my brain is getting smarter. Just seeing something fills me with info. And now I'm seeing so much at once. All of it pouring into my mind, spinning off more and more thoughts. It's not a linear process. It's all happening at the same time. Everything's swirling in my head at once, growing wildly. Even stuff I never learned before is just popping up in my mind. Suddenly my hand starts to itch. I glance down. A mess of black symbols and numbers is rising under my skin. What even is this? Digital compounds or something? I can't stop thinking, and I can't control what I'm thinking about. My brain just keeps taking in info. My mind feels like it's growing exponentially every second. This is bad. Really bad. I can feel my very essence burning out. But these crazy waves of info block out the danger. My gut screams that something's wrong. If this keeps going, I'm really done for. I have to find a way to fight back. Right then, a pair of bony hands lands on my shoulders. I look up and meet a wall of Will Mage's staring eyes. I don't know when, but Will Mage is already in front of me. The book that's its head tilts toward me, and the pages flip quickly. Black symbols pour out like a dark tidal wave, rolling over everything. All of it crashes onto my face. I can't react at all. There's too much going on in my head. I can only stand there until the black numbers and symbols almost cover my whole body. My hair starts to fall out, quickly replaced by those dense symbols. Even my body hair falls out. My eyes go dull fast, turning just like those mutants. The monster slowly lets go of me and backs up a few steps. The pages of the book flap gently, while all those eyes keep turning, watching its prey in front of it. It seems like it's checking whether its prey is really dead or not. Then it turns to leave. The next moment, I strike without warning. My body suddenly lunges forward, slashing with my saber in a vicious arc, cutting down hard from above. My strike is fast and sharp. Mage is caught totally off guard, and the hardness and sharpness of the ceramic saber slices right through with barely any resistance. The tang blade splits Mage's head in two. But this freaky mutant doesn't die right away. It lets out a sharp, piercing screech, loud enough to rip my eardrums. It jerks the blade free and spins around fast. A flood of black symbols comes pouring at me, but I don't dodge at all. Instead, I charge straight into the wave, gripping the blade in my right hand, left hand steady on the hilt. With my whole body, I stab forward. The blade instantly pierces Mage's heart. This breaks its attack. That creepy mutant looks at me in terror, but it's already too late. I yank my saber out, then swing a quick slice at its neck. My attack is fast and clean. I barely feel any resistance slicing through. Mage's head drops to the ground with a thud. Then the body collapses, but it's still not finished dying. Its body on the ground starts twitching violently, almost mechanically. I hurry over, step on its chest, and stab at its heart again, pinning it to the floor. Finally, the body stops moving. Is it dead? I wonder, but something still feels off. The next instant, a flash of red appears at the edge of my vision. It's Mage's head. That leather-bound book suddenly jumps up and clamps onto my face. The pages wrap around my head tightly, cutting off my air. The pages started to fuse with my skin, but I wasn't nervous at all. Struggling at this point meant nothing to me. I turned the tang sword around and stabbed it hard into my own head. The sword pierced through both the book and my skull. Blood splattered everywhere, but not a drop was mine. I reached out and grabbed the leather book, tore it off, and tossed it on the ground. Then I froze like a statue. The reason was simple. My mind wasn't in my body right now. It was inside the deep space eye. Right when Hulio took control of me, I transferred my mind before I lost full control, moved my consciousness into the satellite. So this fight was done from a third-person view, remotely controlled by me. No matter how strong Huimo's mind corruption was, she couldn't corrupt a shell without a mind. Still, even so, I was a bit shaken afterward, because my essence had already been burned away by almost half. Even though I moved my mind, if my body died, I would still die too. And seeing how weird my body looked, I let out a quiet sigh. There was no way I'd dare go back right away. All the harm I suffered would eventually be converted into essence loss, and that loss would slowly repair itself. So as long as they don't kill me right then and there, any type of injury will eventually disappear. About 3 hours later, those creepy symbols on my body were completely gone, and my hair grew back. I carefully returned to my body. In my head, there was still some lingering confusion and dizziness, but I wasn't having uncontrollable thoughts anymore. I crouched down and checked Huimo's remains, took off her clothes, pressed down on her body inch by inch, while feeling her body's structure. Huimo's body was thin and dried up, with no moisture at all. Her skin felt like tough leather. Structurally, she was almost like a human. Overall, it was like a mummified corpse. Then I looked at Huimo's true form. That red book. The cover was made of leather, the spine was bone, and the pages were flesh. Touching it felt really disturbing. My sword had sliced it almost in half. On those pages, tons of hollow, staring eyes were wide open. Bloody tears stained the pages red. And there was writing on the pages. I just couldn't read it. The initial check was over. I got up and snapped a few photos. Then I started the next, most important test. I slowly placed my hand on the book. My essence started to flow into the book. It formed a stationary essence mark. That's how I activated the lab and the satellite. This time, I was going to try to awaken the book as well. Silent blue light burst out from the book. In that dazzling blue, Huimo's body was slowly restored. In just a few seconds, the blue light faded. This twisted abomination slowly got up, standing completely still like a statue. A few days ago, when Utejo and I were talking about getting stronger, Yu Taejo asked me if I'd read a certain novel. Story of your life. Yeah, they even made it into a movie called Arrival. I nodded. Yu Taejo started going on about it. Yeah, that novel itself takes the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis to its limit. The idea that language shapes our thinking. If your native language is Chinese, you think in Chinese. If it's English, you think in English. Because grammar, word count, and etymology are different. Your way of thinking changes too. I suddenly felt a bit uneasy. Professor, are you going to tell me that if I want to get stronger, I should study English harder? No, there's something more effective than language. And only you can do it. The professor raised a finger. Experience it. You don't have to learn language from aliens. You can become an alien. Now, all I need to do is become an alien. I closed my eyes. Consciousness transferred. In an instant, I entered the core imprint inside the himo. A sense of emptiness like never before. Void and calm surrounded me. I slowly opened a dozen or so eyes of mine and looked at this world. The sight almost made me dizzy, but more than dizzy. I was excited. First, there's clarity. Clarity like I've never felt before. I could see the texture on a grass blade from 10 meters away. My field of vision was insanely wide, almost 270 degrees. Then the colors. The contrast between colors was crazy distinct. I could see hundreds, thousands of shades I couldn't even tell apart before. I even saw the color of the wind. It was a faint, almost clear, silvery white. And then information. With a glance I knew how many pebbles were in my view. How many weeds. When I looked at a strange plant, I instantly knew how long it had lived, and how much longer it could live. Finally, the motion. When somewhere in my sight, a pebble rolled down. The falling path left several afterimages. I glimpsed its past for a split second. This was total information overload on a crazy level. And with the weird brain of the himo, I felt like I'd become a computer. Then I looked at myself, but I couldn't see a thing. I was still me, standing there quietly. No extra information about myself came through. Like a silent stone, the all-knowing perspective seemed to fail on me. But I didn't have time to study that right now. Because when I'm playing a himo, I burn through my core energy crazy fast. Half an hour and I'll be fully drained. Now came the last step of the experiment. Reshaping myself, Yu Taejo told me, I'm not alive. I'm something beyond that. So, maybe by changing how I think, I can remake myself. I went back to my body, shut my eyes right away, and started recalling non-stop that unique feeling of being the himo. After 30 seconds, I slowly opened my eyes. Tiny pupils over a dozen appeared in my eyeballs. The silver wind kept streaming across my view. There was no sun in the dark red sky. But when the red got deeper and deeper, that meant night was coming. Give it an hour and it'll be dark. On the rooftop, the fat guy said to the skinny guy. The skinny guy didn't respond to that, but asked instead, why did the young gang come to talk to Boss Shen? The fat guy muttered, a few days ago. Weren't they targeting Satellite Town?
Then,
Half their main guys got taken out by Blue Shiyu. Now it looks like they're coming to us for help. The skinny guy frowned deep. Boss Shen shouldn't help them. They're just a bunch of scumbags trying to survive. My friend, we're all out here just to survive. Only the methods differ. The fat guy squeezed out a weird tone. And this time they're paying a lot. Almost giving up half what they've got. Did boss say yes? The skinny guy asked, still checking it out. Since it's a big deal, going against Satellite Town is risky. The skinny guy sighed and didn't say more. Right then, he looked deeper into the city. There seemed to be a little figure out there, just barely flickered in his side view. The skinny guy frowned, put up the binoculars, looked down that street, waited quietly for the figure to show again. But after a few seconds, still didn't see it. See anything? The fat guy asked. No, maybe I saw wrong, the skinny guy said, but didn't put down the binoculars. But just then, the figure showed again. The skinny guy instantly focused. And when he saw the guy's face, he was totally shocked. No way. What's wrong? The fat guy quickly asked. It's him.
he's back?
The fat guy also grabbed the binoculars and was completely stunned. No, that's impossible. Nobody comes back alive from the hamo. Unless he never went into District 13. The skinny guy clenched his teeth. then said, "Let's go down and ask." When I went back, it was almost the same as when I came. Had my camera, my backpack, and a tang saber at my waist. Night fell again. Just as I was thinking about resting or heading out, two figures showed up in front of me. The same fat and skinny guys I'd met before. Two grave diggers. They leaned against a junk car and looked my way. From how things looked, they'd obviously been waiting for me. "Oh, it's you too. Didn't expect to see you again." I gave a polite smile. This area is Shen gang territory. We've always been watching. If you pass by here, we'll know for sure. The skinny guy explained seriously. The fat guy checked me out with a curious look, like he hoped to find something weird. "I thought you were a goner. Didn't expect you to come back alive." "What, the door was locked?" "No, I went in. Even took some photos," I replied. "So you didn't run into the Himo? Folks with your luck are super rare. Or maybe it was gone?" I shrugged. Actually, I did meet it. The fat guy's jaw dropped, and he didn't know what to say. We all went quiet for a moment, until the skinny guy just asked, "And then?" "I killed it," I answered. "How can you prove that?" Skinny asked again, "Do you want to see the photos?" I opened the camera album and handed it to Skinny, but Fatty snatched it away halfway and started looking. Himo, the madman's howl, one of the scariest mutants. How could someone like him kill it? He flipped through the photos one by one. The first few are just normal street views. Then there's one showing the sign at the entrance of District 13 with red graffiti. He really went to District 13. But so what if he went? Going doesn't mean he killed Himo. He kept flipping through, then found the photo I took of that mutant. The mutant was squatting under the building ruins, covered in symbols. He started laughing. "You got it wrong. That's not Himo. It's just a regular mutant. The least aggressive kind." Things like that. We don't even bother with them. Sometimes we mess with it when we're bored. He kept talking while flipping through, then suddenly stopped mid-sentence. Next photo. A broken, shriveled gray corpse. An almost split leather book. Both neatly arranged. Photo looks really professional. Humo's corpse. Fatty started breathing faster. Cold sweat ran down his forehead. Humo is really dead. Are you done? Can I have the camera back now? I asked, and Fatty hurried to return it. Then said, I'm Dujuan. This friend here is Shanyi. We're both gravediggers from Shen Crew. Didn't you say you wouldn't tell names to the dead? I joked. Times change. Everything's different now. 30 years by the East River. 30 years by the West? Dujuan put on a fawning grin. I couldn't help laughing and crying at him. But I actually liked these two. After all, they warned me about Himo yesterday. About Himo? They were just being nice. So wanna come hang at Shen Crew? Fatty continued. No thanks, I really gotta get back soon. Sleeping on the street isn't great. I said, that's why you should come with us. We've got rooms you can stay in. And you can take a shower. Our boss even has an SUV. Tomorrow we can even give you a ride. I've gotta hand it to Dujuan. A few words from him and I'm tempted. As for safety, I'm not worried. Killing me isn't an easy job. Alright then, I'll take you up on that. Hey, it's no trouble. Come on, let's go. I'll introduce you to our boss Shen later. I've heard about Shen Crew from Lin Nyanian. It's got a pretty good reputation. Fair trades. They don't mess with others. And they don't use dirty tricks. Their base is in an abandoned mansion. The mansion is pretty big and has been cleaned up a bit. A little rundown, but actually very tidy. Just right. Gravediggers patrol around inside. Maybe 10 people or so. And they have electricity here. They've got their own generator. Since the place isn't that big, the cost of electricity isn't. Hi, Dujuan and Shanyi took me to a banquet hall in the mansion. Just as we got to the door, I heard people talking inside. Loud voices. But Dujuan didn't bother waiting. He just pushed the door open. There were 2 long tables in the meeting room, and people sitting on either side, clearly from different factions. You could tell by their faces. In the middle were 2 main chairs. Boss Shen He of Shen Crew sat in one. Shen He, the boss of Shen Crew. A man in his 40s. Broad face. With a beard. A long scar on his face, but not a fierce one. He saw Dujuan come in, and frowned just a little. Asked, what's up? Something urgent? No emergency, sir. But I brought an important guest. Dujuan replied. Shen He gave me a quick look. I'm pretty young. He didn't know me, but he knows Dujuan. And Dujuan never acts without purpose. Alright, let the guest rest first. I have business to discuss with Yang Bang's guest, Shen He said. Hearing Yang Bab got me interested. I remembered. The ones who attacked my lab days ago were from Yang Bang. Dujuan cleared his throat. Boss Shen, why not talk a bit with Mr. Zhao first? It's not cool to make Mr. Zhao wait. Not really nice. Shen He got what Dujuan meant right away. I'm the more important guest. Dujuan didn't want me to feel slighted, but Yang Jufeng wasn't happy about it. He glared and said, Shen, are all your guys this rude? No respect at all. Shen He just smiled. They're brothers who risked their lives together. He was in a dilemma. Then I broke the silence. No need to hurry about me. But can I stay and listen in? Everyone looked surprised. Then Yang Jufeng smirked. You want to listen in, huh? Sure, why not? But I'm blunt. If you hear something you shouldn't, I might have to kill you. I smiled. Then wish me luck. As a big shot of the madman, one of the top gangs, Yang Jufeng didn't care about me. He just shot me a cold look and kept talking to Shen He. I've explained the situation. Simply put, we in Satellite Town have a little problem. Things aren't so peaceful, Yang Jufeng said coldly. Yeah, I know. Shen He nodded. I know your crew has a good rep nearby. So here's my offer. I want you to be the mediator. Help us talk peace. Payment is 50 gold coins. 50 gold coins. I did the math in my head. From what I know, most gold and silver coins now are 20 grams each. And gold is worth 100 times more than silver. So 100 gold coins equals 10,000 silver coins, which means 100 kilograms of silver. Before I came here, the top price for silver was about 10 bucks. So that's about $1 million. I'm a bit shocked. Who knew grav robbers were so rich? But when I think about it, this actually makes sense. After all, if the rewards weren't this high, why would anyone risk so much to be a grav robber? But the review didn't approve right away. He leaned back in his chair and said, that's not easy to handle. You guys clashed directly with Satellite Town. Even hurt some of their people. That's never happened before. So Yang Jufeng looked annoyed. We need some time to look into this. See if 50 gold coins are really worth our risk? Shen He laughed. Then I'll add 10 more coins. Yang Jufeng didn't want to give Shen He any time to think. Thanks, but all our business depends on Satellite Town. You could just hire other grav robbers. If you make us fall out with Satellite Town because of this, for us, the loss would be too much. Yang Jufeng's face grew dark. 60 coins. That's the max. If you don't agree, then we'll have to walk away. Go home and just wait to die. But I'm not the type to just wait for death. If it comes to that, I'll go totally nuts. No telling what I might do. Shen He's smile slowly faded. He caught the threat in Yang Jufeng's words. If he says no, maybe Yang Bang would take revenge before dying? Even though Yang Bang was seriously hurt, Yang Jufeng is a psychic himself, and he's tough to deal with. But maybe they get no money at all, and still end up losing big. He struggled inside for a moment. Shen He shook his head. This is about the Yang Gang's survival. How could I say no? We're basically neighbors after all. Yang Jufeng's face eased up a bit. He waved his hand. One of his guys handed over a wooden box. The box was opened. Inside were 10 shiny gold coins. Yang Jufeng pushed the box toward Shen He. This is the down payment. Once the job's done, the remaining 50 coins will be sent right away. Shen He motioned for his men to take and check the box. He picked up his teacup and took a sip. He said, but I'm curious. What did you do to piss off Lan 15 so badly? To make him go this hard on you? He didn't leave a single survivor. That's not how he usually is. As soon as he heard that, Yang Jufeng's expression turned fierce. This isn't going to end so easily. That bastard. I'm going to kill him sooner or later. And his whole crew. I'll show them. Messing with Yang Jufeng never ends well. And they'll die horribly. Shen He didn't look surprised at all. This guy was never here to talk peace. He's just trying to survive. But Lan Xiu is even more dangerous. Just then, I, who'd been silent, spoke up slowly. Can I say something? Yang Jufeng was the first to speak. You'd better just sit there quietly and pretend you don't exist. Or you'll regret it. No, what I have to say is really important. I couldn't care less about Yang Zhufeng's threats. I kept going. Lan Xiu didn't go that far. Those grave diggers from the Yong gang. Lan Xiu didn't kill them. Yang Zhufeng froze at first. Then his eyes turned playful. You're actually defending that bastard? I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just stating a fact, I said with a bright smile. Yang Zhufeng let out a cold laugh, his look growing even more dangerous. All right, then go ahead and state your case. If it wasn't Lan Xiu, then who was it? Remember, if you dare say you don't know, I'll rip your tongue out. Of course I know. I kept smiling. I killed those people. The whole meeting room suddenly fell dead silent, and Yang Zhufeng's face looked terrifying. A red glow started flashing in his pupils. It was a sign his physical powers were activating. Shen He felt chills on his scalp. None of them were ready for a fight. In a situation like this, Yang Zhufeng could rip everyone here apart. He got up quickly, trying to calm things down. But I kept talking, not worried at all. Must have been 5 days ago. That night, Lian Yuan brought a dozen young gang people to rob me. I actually tried to reason with them. But there was a dumb girl named Xiao Yu. I really had no choice. So I killed them all. But don't worry, they probably didn't suffer too much. It was all over in a second. The mood got more and more tense. And more dangerous. The Yang gang people all stood up. Someone started reaching for their gun. Shen He and his people were already shocked. They didn't know how to get involved. In this sudden conflict, I went on. Actually, I never wanted to take revenge on the Yang gang. I've been busy. My work schedule is fully packed. But after sitting in on this meeting today, I suddenly thought, sometimes it really is necessary to wipe everyone out. I just want to live a peaceful life. Yang Zhufeng suddenly jumped up. A fierce red light burst from his pupils. Layer after layer of black scales started growing on his skin. In an instant, he looked like a humanoid beast. So, are you really going to fight here? I'm still sitting there. And asked with interest. Yang Zhufeng growled, I don't care who you are, or what you are. I'm making you die a painful death today. That's perfect.
This way.
I don't need an excuse anymore. I grinned happily, then grabbed a fruit knife from the table and stabbed it into my forehead. Blood spurted out instantly. My action stunned everyone. What's he doing? He just killed himself. Is this guy insane? My arm fell, still holding the fruit knife, showing a deep bloody hole in my forehead. The wound went straight to the brain, pretty much dead for sure. But for some reason, Yang Zhufeng felt uneasy. He turned his twisted face toward Shen He. Shen He, you'd better explain this to me. Did you set this up? As soon as he finished, everyone in the room at that moment felt a cold gaze sweep over them, passing right through their bodies. The room suddenly went quiet, and everyone stared at my corpse. Behind that deep bloody hole, a blood-red eye was staring right at them. The possessor! It's the possessor! Someone screamed in terror. Du Wan was 30 this year. He'd fought alongside Shen He for over a decade. Been through lots of danger. Honestly, he'd never been scared before, even with a gun to his head.
He could still crack dirty jokes.
But right now, what he felt was a total soul-crushing terror.
The possessor.
I actually summoned a possessor at the cost of my own life? Why go this far? Is it worth dragging everyone down? Does everyone have to die together? His legs went weak, and he collapsed on the ground, desperately crawling backward, pulling his gun and shooting at the possessor. He emptied the entire clip, but the possessor didn't have a scratch. Du Huan looked around in despair. The conference room had already exploded in chaos. People screamed and rushed to the door, Yang Zhufeng included. All his confidence and arrogance vanished the moment the possessor appeared. Gone without a trace. He fled like a scared dog. Get out of my way. Move. He shoved aside a henchman in front of him. That guy hit the floor hard, but didn't make a sound. Yang Zhufeng realized something was wrong. He instinctively looked over and saw his henchman's eyes had lost all light. His pupils were twitching rapidly. He was mumbling something quickly. Black words slowly appeared on his skin, more and more, getting denser and denser. Yang Zhufeng looked around and realized he wasn't the only one. All of the Yang gang had suddenly fallen into this strange state. They just stood there, dazed and lost. Their eyes were shaking, and they kept whispering, Suddenly, his senses seemed to explode. He started seeing and hearing a flood of information. Color, shape, smell, and sound. These things keep racing through his mind, self-generating thoughts, pushing him to imagine and dig up even more. He can't stop his runaway thoughts. He looks at his own hands. Black words and symbols start to show under his skin. Cold sweat drips down Yang Zhufeng's forehead. His breathing gets heavier. He really wants to keep running. But his mind just gets more crowded and even more chaotic. It takes up all his focus. He forgets to run. Until finally, he just stands there silent, letting his thoughts go wild. The Shenyang guys are still in chaos. Someone screams. Someone fires a gun. Someone runs away. Until Shen he suddenly shouts, "Don't move. Everybody freeze. Don't shoot. We're not being attacked." His strong voice calms everyone down. Then they notice that only the Yang gang got hit with mental pollution. Their own guys, aside from a few injuries in the panic, are all fine. So this isn't a random attack. It's targeted. Himo never attacks at random. The person in charge still sounds shaky. What does that mean? Dujuan gulps. He thinks of a crazy possibility. Himo wasn't just summoned here by chance. Himo is controlled. Shen, he says Himo is controlled. Even with all his imagination, Dujuan can't connect those two ideas. But the one who summoned Himo is already dead. So who's controlling it? Right then. I speak slowly, still sitting in the chair. Can I have a gun? Their minds are all broken. Might as well kill them and set them free. The shock hits Dujuan just as he regained his senses. He's stunned again. You're not dead. He was just the closest. He saw me use a fruit knife to make a hole in my own forehead. I just killed someone. Started with myself. Isn't that backwards? I look at Dujuan. There's not even a mark on my forehead. You're still the one controlling Himo. Yeah, but he's harmless. Unless I tell him to kill. Dujuan's heart pounds like thunder. His body's shaking too. Until Shen he tosses a gun over from a distance. Here, use this. I pick up the gun. Check the chamber. Check the bullets. Then I start walking toward Yang Zhufeng. Yang Zhufeng just stands there. His pupils tremble.
His lips mumble.
I walk up to him, put the gun to his forehead, calmly pull the trigger. The shot rings out. Bullet goes in through his forehead and out the back of his head. His body stiffens instantly, then hits the ground, dead. Dujuan never imagined Yang Gang's boss, Yang Zhufeng, would actually be killed like that, execution style. Then I walk over to the rest of the Yang Gang, just as emotionless. In the not-so-big conference room, the only sounds are the dull, rhythmic gunshots. During the whole thing, nobody interrupts or speaks. Until I'm done killing the last one. I hand the gun back to Shen He. Thanks. Shen He quietly takes it back. He turns to Shanye and says, there should still be a few Yang Gang guys outside. Take some people. And take care of them too. Don't leave anyone alive. Move fast. And when it's done, bring a few people back to clean up the bodies. Okay, Shanye answers. He turns and leaves the room. A few shots ring out at the camp. It all goes quiet soon. Only then does Shen He sit down. He doesn't mention the sudden chaos just now. Just simply asks Mr. Zhaolin. So may I ask what you need from the Shen Gang? It's nothing major really. Dujuan chimes in from the side. Mr. Zhaolin took out Himo and is heading back now. It's just too late to travel tonight. So I invited him to stay here. We'll drive him back tomorrow. I nod. Yeah, that's about it. Is that okay with you? Of course, no problem. We have plenty of empty rooms. Would you like a room now or later? Right now would be great, thanks. I'm a bit tired. I say, and Shen He nods right away. Okay. Dujuan will show you to your room. Oh, right. One more thing. He picks up the box of 10 gold coins from the table and slides it over to me. This should still be yours. Isn't that the deposit the Yang Gang gave you? I open the box and see the coins. But Yang Gang doesn't exist anymore. So the deal's off. Plus you wiped them out. These are your spoils. Alright, I'll take them then. I stop refusing. Then I add, by the way, the rest of the Yang Gang stuff goes to you guys. But I want 30%. Of course, once we finish counting everything, we'll send your cut over. I nod. Himo beside me starts to move quickly, turning into a little ball, then disappearing. Come on, I'll show you your room, Dujuan says. After Dujuan takes me away, he slowly sinks back into his chair, feeling weak to his core. He waves his hand tiredly, telling everyone else to leave. So he sits there dazed in the room full of bodies. Shock still fills his heart. He's never seen anything that terrifying before. So scary it makes you despair. Wow, that young guy must be incredibly powerful. But how is someone like that here in Madman Trench? And not a whisper got out? How come he's never heard of him? About 20 minutes later, Dujuan comes in. He lights a cigarette and hands it to Shen He. Shen He takes it
Takes a drag.
and slowly relaxes. Is Mr. Xiaolin settled in? Yeah. I asked if he wanted dinner, but he said no. Shen He looks out at the dark sky. Yang Gang. I really thought they'd never die. Didn't expect them to get wiped out just like that. Life sure is unpredictable. You're not upset? Anyway, I'm pretty happy about it. Yang Hurricane always thought he was unbeatable. Well, he really hit a wall this time. Dujuan started laughing quietly. Shen He didn't continue the topic. All right, have Shanyi see Mr. Zhao off tomorrow. Pick a decent car for the drive. Tell Shanyi not to ask weird questions. What about me? I did something huge. I should get a reward, right? Dujuan grinned playfully. Of course there's a reward. Your reward is no sleep tonight. Work all night. Shen He stood up, loosened his shoulders a bit. Tonight's a good chance. Move all the Yang Gang's assets over to us. Also, for the next week, try not to rest too much either. Hunters will be out on the hunt. Right now, we're the only ones with this intel. District 13 has some valuable resources. Form a few more squads. Get ahead before others catch on. Grab the most valuable stuff first, and make sure it's ours. Hope we can tough it out these days. Or just die of exhaustion. Dujuan sighed, but you could still see excitement deep in their eyes. This time, the Shen Gang is about to score big. Next morning, bright and early, the Shen Gang camp was a lot emptier. For a second, I thought maybe they skipped town overnight. But Shanyu was still there. He told me most people in camp had gone to District 13 to scout around. Besides that, he also brought me 30 gold coins. That was my share after they counted up the Yang Gang's assets. My cut. After a quick breakfast, Shanyi drove me to Satellite Town in an off-road vehicle. Normally, it's a 7 or 8 hour drive, but we made it in just 2. Still, I didn't let Shanyi get too close to the lab. I got out 2 kilometers away. As I got near the research institute, my phone reconnected to the network. A security alert popped up. I opened the notification. Turns out Yanji had come by. He waved at the camera, then stuffed a letter into the mailbox out front. Finally, he pointed at the mailbox. He moved very stiffly. I almost wanted to laugh watching him. I opened the mailbox. Opened the envelope. On it in messy handwriting, it said Mr. Xiaolin. Mr. Bai has arrived. Came to visit at the East Gate. You weren't home. If you return, please reply. Mr. Bai is in Satellite Town now. I still remember that name.
He owns Blue Dragon Mining.
He's Lan Xiu's boss. I've met him once online. A brief encounter on the mental web. Yu Teijo wants me to investigate if this world has a promotion system. If anyone might know about that, the most likely one would be Mr. Bai, a transcendent. Alright, I'll go meet Mr. Bai first. Gather all the info I have. Then report everything to the professor. That was my plan. But I didn't go right away. Instead, I went back to the institute first. Dropped off what was in my backpack. Took a shower, ate, and changed. Only after getting ready did I head out. By the time I got to the government building, it was pretty empty. Only Su Guang from the law enforcement squad was on duty, sitting on a bench in the lobby. He's about 5'7", with a baby face that looks really young. He seems like the type who gets along with women. When he saw me, he gave a big, friendly smile. Mr. Xiaolin, I thought you were out. When did you get back? He talked while, awkwardly pulling a cigarette from the pack. Handed one to me. Thanks, but no. I don't smoke. I politely refused and replied. I came back about an hour ago. Saw your captain's note and came over. Our captain's handwriting is super ugly, right? I didn't answer. Just kept quiet and nodded. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Su Guang didn't smoke either. He closed the pack, put it away, and said, "Too bad you picked a bad time. Everyone's over at the mine. No idea when they'll be back. Why don't you go upstairs? Wait a bit and I'll let them know." "No need, I'll go to the mine myself." "Do you know the way?" "I have satellite maps. I can find it." "That's not necessary. I'll take you over." "Just wait a second. Let me arrange their work first." Before I could say yes, Su Guang had already rushed into the office. He came out after a while. We walked toward the mine, chatting along the way. "Why did Mr. Bai show up all of a sudden?" "Is it because of me?" I asked. "No, not really. It's about something at the mine." Su Guang shook his head honestly, sighed, "But I can't tell you yet. Mr. Bai hasn't decided if you'll be involved." "Stuff at the mine. Well, it's pretty serious." Su Guang answered honestly again. Then he finally realized. Maybe he'd said too much.
He asked back Mr. Zhao where.
"Have you been these days? Why'd you disappear all of a sudden?" "I went to the Madman's Trench for research." "Did research at the Madman's Trench?" Su Guang looked surprised. "It's actually pretty dangerous there. Especially District 13. There's this corrupted thing called Huimo." "Yeah, that's what I was investigating. I took care of it too." Su Guang suddenly got quiet. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Nothing. Just felt like there's some huge gap between us." Su Guang wiped his forehead nervously. "It's not that serious," I said, feeling embarrassed. "But you took out Huimo. Even the mayor couldn't handle its mind attacks. Hey, even if I did get rid of it, it's not a big deal." We chatted as we reached the mine. The mine's pretty big, with wooden buildings here and there, huge piles of stone and coal around. Right then, a bunch of people were gathered in the center. No idea what they're doing. Mr. Bai was in the crowd. He looked exactly like he did online. Tall, about 40, all in white, and looked super classy. "Mayor Bai, Mr. Xiaolin is here," Su Guang shouted from a distance. Mr. Bai looked over and gave me a polite nod, then turned his eyes away. Lan Xiu also smiled and nodded at me. I walked over, and the crowd made way for me. Then I noticed, right in the middle was a stone coffin. It wasn't that new, but was still intact. It had a feather pen mark on the lid. "Mr. Xiaolin, good to see you. But sorry, we're a bit busy right now. Hope you don't mind." Mr. Bai stared at the coffin, talking calmly. I shook my head, showing I didn't care, because I could sense an uneasiness coming from that coffin. My pupils started to spread like liquid, splitting into new ones. I entered Huimo mode. I said softly, "It's limestone. Looks man-made, but there's zero sign of carving by hand. Feels like it formed naturally, and it looks centuries old, but actually hasn't been there long. The damage doesn't match. It rains a lot in Satellite Town, with so much rain soaking in. The coffin should be powdery and flaking, but it's just cracked, which makes no sense. This thing shouldn't even exist." When I finished, everyone went totally silent. A lot of them looked clearly scared. Mr. Bai nodded.
He said, "Thanks, Mr. Xiaolin."
"Looks like it's basically confirmed to be that thing. So you know what this is?" I asked. Mr. Bai nodded. "It's the writer's coffin." I didn't get it, but before I could ask, Lin Nyanian spoke up. "Can we just dump the coffin somewhere? Like bury it at Madman's Trench?" He was still using a cane, but looked a lot better. But Mr. Bai shook his head.
He said, "It won't work."
The moment the coffin appeared, all of us fell under the writer's influence. Anything we do is just moving the story along. "So do we open it?" Lan Xiu asked. "Open it. If the manuscript isn't anywhere else, it's probably in the coffin." Lan Xiu signaled with her hand. Yan Ji and a few miners stepped forward. They jammed an iron bar into the stone coffin's crack. They pried it open hard. Then several people slid the lid aside. Inside was a completely dried-out corpse. The corpse's hands lay folded on its chest, holding several yellowed pieces of parchment. I can see them. Those parchments are something really powerful. When people saw this body, everyone around started getting restless. Fear kept growing. "It's really Simon. Are we dead for sure?" "Don't worry, Mr. Bai is here." Mr. Bai motioned for everyone to be quiet. Then he bent down, pulled out the stack of papers, and spread them out a bit. On the top line of the first page, one sentence was written. "Everything started the day a stone coffin was unearthed. After that, a horrible disaster began spreading in the town. Mr. Bai didn't read on. Instead, he snapped the manuscript shut and rolled it back up. Lan Xiu tried to speak, but before she could say anything, Mr. Bai cut her off. Let's get back to the administrative center first. The miners stayed behind to handle the officers' remains. Everyone else returned to the center. They held a meeting in the conference room. The meeting room wasn't very big and looked a bit worn, but it had a traditional feel. A solid wood table was surrounded by high-backed chairs, with fresh flowers set in the middle. Only after coming here did Mr. Bai formally greet me. Mr. Zhao Lin, good to see you. By the way, my full name is Bai Xiaoyun. They probably never mentioned that, huh? They just call you Mr. Bai. I shook his hand. Lan and the others say you're a good guy. I'd really like to chat too. But sadly, we probably don't have time for small talk. Bai Xiaoyun glanced at the manuscript in his hand and sighed. Lan's nickname made me almost laugh. I glanced at her lightly. She looked a little awkward. I said it's fine. It's important anyway. So what's the story behind that stone coffin? And who is Simon? Bai Xiaoyun's face got a little serious. He motioned for me to sit down and then began to speak. In our red territory, we have a special tradition. When someone is buried, to prevent grave robbing, a quill mark gets carved onto the coffin. A quill mark means Simon's. Why? I asked. Because Simon brings disaster and death. Bai Xiaoyun spoke in a low voice. He's a horror writer, also a fifth-generation transcendent. Every story he writes ends with the main character's despairing death. Once you see Simon's coffin, it means you're stuck in his story, judging from the opening. This time he included the whole satellite town in the story. So, it means Bai Xiaoyun paused a few seconds. He plans to wipe us out. As he finished, even the air seemed to freeze for a second. Even the wind outside sounded distant. Everyone in the room looked scared. I was also shocked inside. Killing a whole town with just a story? That's way too insane. Mr. Bai, if we evacuate Satellite Town, can we avoid this disaster? Lan Xiu asked. Over 5,000 people. Where would we move them all? And how could we handle that? Bai Xiaoyun asked back. We can just move the important people. Bai Xiaoyun shook his head. Only as a last resort. But we shouldn't abandon the rest from the start. Besides, leaving probably wouldn't help anyway. Once you see the coffin, the story already began. No matter what we do, it's all inside the narrative, and the narrative is fate. Lan Xiu didn't know what to say for a moment. Why would he attack you guys? Is there some beef between you? I asked, curious. We don't know him, and we have no grudge. But far as I know, Simon joined the House of Folds a year ago. He's probably preparing to cross the door of cognition. I didn't bother with the new terms I didn't get. Just found it kind of incredible. No grudge. No reason. And he wants to wipe out a town of over 5,000? Besides, I actually like this town. It's peaceful, united, and organized. The people here, I like them too. After a moment of silence, Bai Xiaoyun finally spoke up again. Right now, facing Simon head-on isn't smart. Negotiation is the best move. Then I'll check online. See if I can find Simon's contact. Nyan jumped in, got it. This one's on you.
But
We've got to prepare in case the negotiation fails. Bai Xiaoyun nodded, kept giving orders. Yanji, go to Fengren soon. Contact those grave diggers. Get more weapons and ammo. See if we can get support. Also, have law enforcement patrol the town more. Report any unusual findings immediately. Got it. I'll finish as soon as I can. Yanji responded right away. Xiu, go talk to all the big groups in town. Let them know what's up. If they're willing to stay, good. If not, we won't. Force them, make sure they know. Running away isn't worth it. Got it. Lan Xiu nodded seriously. That's all I can think of for now. Once the meeting ends, let's all start working. Bai Xiaoyun leaned tiredly against the chair back. He pinched his nose, then finally looked at me again. Sorry, Mr. Zhao. You've been busy since you got here. Sorry we didn't treat you better. I didn't mind at all. It's fine, nothing urgent for me. I just have a few questions. Do we need a private spot for them? No, it's pretty simple. I just want to know, does this world have a promotion system? Bai Xiaoyun didn't answer right away. He sat there, with a bit of a smile. Mr. Zhaolin, how many days have you been here? About 7 days, I think. I answered honestly. Just 7 days. And you've already dug this deep.
In such a short time.
Mr. Zhaolin, you really surprised me. Bai Xiaoyun sounded impressed. So it exists? Not exactly. But there's something like it. Remember, we just talked about Simon's attack. I said, it's probably about crossing the door of cognition. I got it right away. So the door of cognition is the way to advance? He's chasing advancement. Bai Xiaoyun nodded. Yeah, exactly. Ever heard of the 9 realities theory? I shook my head. It's a pretty complex theory. But simply put, our world is a single whole. But reality is split into 9 layers. Most of us, regular people, live on the first layer of reality. On this level, the world we see and know is incomplete. If you want to know more, the only way is through the door of cognition. Reaching a higher reality only then? The missing pieces show themselves. He glanced at me and started gesturing with his hands. Here's an easy example. Lower levels see plains. Higher ones may be mountains. Low level is the ocean. Higher up could be a continent. The higher your reality, the more complete the world you see, and your supernatural powers. This answer really surprised me. I froze for a second before I asked, what exactly is the so-called gate of cognition? Is it an abstract concept or an actual place? You can think of it as the intersection of 2 neighboring realities. But most people don't choose to ascend because it's dangerous? Bai Xiaoyun nodded. The safe gates of cognition are already under control of major organizations, like the House of Sages Simon joined. They have one, but the ones not under control are all extremely dangerous, almost certain death. That's why Simon suddenly decided to pursue ascension. I sighed to myself. Fighting over and monopolizing resources never really changes no matter the era. Mr. Zhao, any other questions? Bai Xiaoyun asked. Not for now. If you have more questions, just ask me any time. Then let's wrap up today's meeting here. Oh, one more thing. I suddenly spoke up. When Mr. Bai negotiates with Simon, remember to let me know. Bai Xiaoyun looked at me. His eyes were calm and gentle. Of course, that's exactly what I want, but I wouldn't recommend it. Mr. Zhaolin, Simon is going after this town, not you. If you join our negotiation and things go south, you might end up making an enemy of him. I smiled. Don't worry, I'm just going to be a number, just to back you up. I actually like this place, so I want to help, even if it's just a little. Bai Xiaoyun stared at me, stayed silent for a moment, then nodded. All right, I'll let you know when that happens. The office was brightly lit. It felt quiet. Only the sound of Yu Taizhou flipping through papers. He was reviewing the reports I turned in about the mechanism of ascension. I just waited quietly until he finished. Yu Taizhou finished the last page, then said, we're on the right track. Role play really is your best way to get stronger. He looked up, his gaze focused and deep. But there are 2 things to watch out for. Don't create too many connections. That'll make your true self weaker. And don't connect with things that are too strong, or you'll end up drained. As for the gates of cognition, wait until you reach your limit. Then we'll try to tackle them. I gave a serious nod and replied, got it. Business done. Yu Taizhou looked more relaxed. He said softly, you've really worked hard lately. Sorry I can't help you more. It's not a big deal. I'm just doing what I need to survive. I smiled to comfort him, then recalled something. I didn't put in the reports. Oh, there's one more thing. But it's not about me. I want your opinion on this. Go ahead. Yu Taizhou raised an eyebrow slightly, folded his hands on the table, and got serious again. It's about Satellite Town. They were attacked by a powerful transcendent. So I told Yu Taizhou everything about the writer. After I finished, Yu Taizhou stroked his chin, thinking, killing with stories. That's a pretty unusual ability, right? And this one's totally broken. He can kill from miles away. Almost impossible to stop. I sighed, but Yu Taizhou shook his head. Actually, it's not as strong as you think. I was stunned, Professor. Do you have a way to beat it? Yu Taizhou shook his head. Not at the moment. But we can try a simple analysis. Bai Xiaoyun said, narrative is destiny, right? That's why the writer is so strong. He can control the narrative and guide fate. No, that's not quite it, Yutejo said. Stories are just one way to narrate, and it's a limited one. I was lost at these weird, strange terms, so my face went blank. Yutejo smiled and shook his head. All right, let's start from scratch. He held up a finger. First, there's infinite narrative. Here's an example. The town is destroyed. That's infinite narrative. It doesn't need a process. No restrictions. It just states a result, saying it makes it real. If Simon's really that strong, why doesn't he just write that? I started thinking, and soon got it. I see, because that's just a single line, not a story. Exactly, Yutejo nodded approvingly. To tell it as a story, the town being destroyed, you need characters, time, place, plot, and logic. Without any of those, it doesn't work. That limits stories. Also, stories themselves are fragile. They're limited by the author's talent and imagination. Looking at all human stories ever created, none are flawless. Once again, Yutejo's way of thinking blew my mind. I admired him, trying to digest all this complex info. Suddenly, the guy everyone in the red zone fears so much might not be so unstoppable. If we look at it logically, Yutejo looked at me thinking and smiled. Don't worry. You don't need to fear him. You're stronger than he is. Way stronger. The next morning, I started role-playing Himo, wandering around Block 13 of Lunatic's Manor, and ended up scaring Dujuan, Yutejo said. Repeating the role-play lets you discover more of Himo's powers faster, and reduces the cost. Right now, with my current level, I can hold it for up to 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, I'm almost at my limit. I quit and returned to my own body, then head to the dining hall for breakfast. Halfway through my meal, a lopsided crane, like it got drunk, flew in from outside. It circled above me a few times, then crashed into my bowl. I stared at the suicidal origami crane, speechless. This has to be from Ling Miamian, definitely her personal style. I carefully fished the soggy crane out of my soup, opened it, and sure enough, it was Lin Nyanian's handwriting. Negotiation in virtual space at 4 p.m. today. Mr. Bai said he won't wait for you, so remember to come early. Looks like Bai Xiaoyun is still torn. On one hand, she wants my help. On the other, she's scared I'll get dragged into trouble. After thinking for a bit, I took a few bites and headed out. Even if it's not for Satellite Town, I want to learn about this world. I also want to meet this so-called killer writer. Mr. Simon, today, the Satellite Town administrative building feels pretty deserted. When I found Lin Nyanian, she was eating some osmanthus cake and scribbling furiously in her big book. She's using a fountain pen. Her fingers are stained with ink. Even her lips have some ink on them. She's a total mess. Definitely not attractive at all. She looked back and saw me. Lin Nyanian froze for a few seconds too. She subtly shielded the osmanthus cake in front of her. Then she finally said, Mr. Xiaolin, why are you here so early? I thought I'd come and prep ahead. So I came over early. I walked up to her. Lin Nyanian looked at me, totally shocked, as I grabbed a piece of osmanthus cake and popped it in my mouth. Then I said, all right, I need your help with something. Lin Nyanian shook her head gently, looking so sad. Too late. When you ate one of my osmanthus cakes, we became enemies for life. I'm serious, I rolled my eyes at her. That writer, Simon, does he have any works? Of course he does. There are some public resources online. Mr. Xiaolin, do you want to read his books? Well, he is a writer. You can get a sense of who he is from his work. I glanced at the osmanthus cake again. Lin Nyan quickly hugged the whole plate to her chest. But I don't have time to get you online right now. I have a ton of accounts to balance today. And it's super urgent. Well, that's a problem. Actually, not really. Lin Nyanian blinked. I can teach you how to get online. Now that we know you're an awakened, you should pick it up quickly. So, what's the process? I sat down on a chair, completely relaxed, waiting for her to instruct me. Mr. Xiaolin, do you know about the collective unconscious? Lin Nyanian shot back. I nodded. Jung's concept, right? It's the unconscious base layer of personality. Yep, Lin Nyanian bit half of her osmanthus cake. When Wisdom City set up the mental internet, they took that into account. So, They built it within the human collective unconscious. So basically, if you meet two conditions, you can go online. First, you have to be psychic or awakened. Second, you must know the internet exists. The method is simple. Just close your eyes and picture that virtual world. Then silently say connect. I looked at her, a bit skeptical. That easy? Yeah, what else did you expect? Are you messing with me just because I ate your cake? Try it and see for yourself. You'll know when you try. Oh, also, by default, you'll log in at checkpoint no. 3. Don't wander around after you get in. It's super crowded in there. Hard to find people. Got it, got it. Okay, I got it. I sighed, closed my eyes, and followed her instructions. But after waiting a while, nothing happened. Honestly, Lin Nyanian, are you? I opened my eyes, and all around me was endless darkness. The only thing underfoot was a grid like a chessboard, stretching on as far as I could see, fading into a gray-white line. The only real object there was a wall. A black wall, formed of countless prisms stacked together. It towered sky-high and kept rippling. This should be the mental internet. But it doesn't feel entirely right. And this definitely doesn't look like the checkpoint. It's nothing like what Lin Nyanian described. With lots of people. Lin Nyanian? Lin Nyanian, are you there? I called out, but my voice was swallowed up by the air in an instant. Log out. I said it softly again. Still, nothing happened. Can't log out? Come on, all I did was eat a pastry. Is this really your payback for that? As soon as I finished talking, for some reason, a deep sense of dread hit me, even made my hair stand on end. I looked away from the black wall and sensed something huge and powerful rushing over the grid playing toward me. Before I could think, I already saw it.
It was a mass of chaotic crimson.
Covering everything, enormous, barreling toward me with unstoppable force. It could destroy everything in its path. Wherever it went, the chessboard grid on the ground went taut, leaving only pure darkness. It felt like the whole world was being shattered by it. Nowhere to hide, no way to escape. I just stood there, completely awed. At the same time, for some reason, I also felt an odd sense of familiarity from this terrifying thing. Right then, some text appeared before me. You've received an invite link from Lin Nyanian. Jump to checkpoint no 3. I paused for a moment, then quickly nodded. Yes. The next instant, the whole world started moving. I zipped through the giant black wall. And on the other side? City warp. In a second, I was at a huge plaza. This plaza stretched as far as I could see, packed everywhere. About 1 million shapes made of lines formed human figures. A giant geometric crystal floated in the air. The number 3 appeared inside the crystal. I was slightly out of breath. I just couldn't snap out of the shock. Another notification popped up in front of me. A new drawing Lin Nyanian sent a connection request. Approve it? I nodded to agree. Then one of the line figures beside me slowly started to take shape. It turned into Lin Nyanian. He crossed his arms the instant he became solid. I said, Mr. Zhaolin, why are you being so mischievous? Didn't I tell you to wait for me at gathering point 3? Why'd you vanish as soon as you got in? My facial muscles twitched before I finally spoke. I said I bugged out just now. You believe me or not? Come on, are you serious? The spirit internet was built by Wisdom City. How could there be bugs? Mr. Zhaolin, you're still denying it. I was about to explain, when suddenly the whole virtual space roared. The giant geometric crystal above us suddenly turned a warning red. What's going on? I asked quickly. A Y2K bug attack. Lin Nyanian looked in a direction. I was stunned. Y2K bug. Yeah, it said. It's an ancient monster lurking in the collective subconscious. It was confirmed real in 1999. It said it could wipe out the entire human collective subconscious, turning all psychics insane. Even regular people would suffer heavy mental damage. Wisdom City has always defended against it. I was stunned. Y2K bug. I know about that too. Wasn't that a 1999 computer date bug? Didn't it get fixed? Yeah, it affected the whole world. But in the end, global programmers fixed it. How did it become a monster in the collective subconscious? I followed his gaze. A huge pitch black wall. stood at the edge of the city before I even noticed. Boom, something struck the wall hard. The whole virtual city shattered at that moment. Fragments flew everywhere. Even Lin Nyaning in front of me broke into pieces. But in the next second, everything started reversing. Like time was rewinding. Everything broken began to piece itself together again. It all snapped back to normal instantly. In every corner of the city, hundreds of figures shot into the sky, trailing long streaks of light. They raced toward the black wall. On the wall's surface, tons of massive codes flowed by too fast for the eye to see. Who are they? They are Wisdom City's cybersecurity cores. Boom, second hit. The city shattered again. But this time, only half broke apart. Yet, in the next second, it was whole again. Boom, third hit. Even less shattered this time. But it recovered slower. Both sides kept wearing down. When the seventh attack hit, it all calmed down. Beyond the wall, that scary thing seemed to leave. I'm sure. The thing that just attacked the wall was the one I saw on the grid planes. All right. This is totally normal. The odds of the Y2K bug getting in are pretty much zero. Lin Nyanian waved it off. By the way, didn't you want Simon's works? I brought them for you. A couple books suddenly appeared in his hands. He shoved all of them at me. I'm heading offline now. I'll find you again when it's time to negotiate. Still have a lot to do today. Before I could reply, she was already gone. I had no choice but to sit on a bench at the meeting point and started reading. Meanwhile, in the real world, seeing me fall asleep, Lin Nyanian gave a chilling smile. All right, anyway, the trap worked. Now it's payback time. She slowly approached me, pulled out a marker from her pocket, popped the cap and blew on it. Mr. Zhaolin, do you prefer a mustache? Or should I draw a turtle? For the next few hours, I just kept reading on the bench. With the magic experience buff, my reading speed got way faster. My memory and analysis got a huge boost. Like Bai Xiaoyun said, every story Simon writes, no matter the journey, the ending is everyone dies horribly. He's a sly novelist, great at building foreshadowing, and full of malice in his storytelling. In a book called Blood Abyss, for example, 3 main characters got trapped in a world called Blood Abyss, but all 3 were really strong, worked together, and barely ever made mistakes. It almost felt like an epic tale of heroes. But in the end, Simon played a fake escape trick. At the end, they all thought they'd escaped Blood Abyss and made it back to reality. But the reality they returned to was actually just part of Blood Abyss. All 3 died in the end. This ending left me speechless, felt kind of forced, and totally different from the story's tone before. When I got to the 3rd book, 2 figures randomly popped up near me. It was Bai Xiaoyun and Lin Nyanian. That's when I realized it's already 5 o'clock. Around 4:40 or so, Bai Xiaoyun glanced at my book and asked with a smile, "So, how is it? Have you learned anything from Simon's books? Anything useful?" I closed the book, smiled and said, "Not sure it's much of a takeaway, but honestly, he writes pretty badly. How about you guys?" "All set." Bai Xiaoyun shook his head. "Not many have dealt with Simon, and it's tough to connect with him. All we can do is take it one step at a time. Anyway, let's head out first." Lin Nyanian closed her eyes and dragged the entire virtual city back. It started moving fast in reverse. A few seconds later, the 3 of us were already standing in front of a wooden villa. The whole villa had 2 floors, came with a yard and half a loft. It looked peaceful and elegant. A sign was hanging outside the yard.
It said Simon.
Bai Xiaoyun walked up first and rang the doorbell. After about 10 seconds, someone finally opened the door. It was a woman in her 20s, wearing glasses, simple and sharp-looking. She eyed the 3 of them with some suspicion. "Do you need something?" "We're here to see Mr. Simon." Bai Xiaoyun gave a polite nod. He spoke politely, but the woman wasn't having it. She said coldly, "Mr. Simon is working. We have an appointment. Even if you do, you can't disturb Mr. Simon while he's working. Just leave. Please go now." Lily's tone was annoyed and dismissive. "You..." Lin Nyanian was a little upset by her attitude. He was about to say something, when suddenly, a gentle male voice came from the room. "Lily, let them in. I could use a break anyway." Lily's face changed slightly. She reluctantly opened the door. Simon was standing on the second floor hallway. He looked very young, with brown curly hair, a slender build, and sharp features. He wore thin gold-rimmed glasses. Even though it was noon, he was just wearing a cardigan pajama top. The belt was simply tied. He looked calm and laid back. Sorry, there's nowhere to host you down here. Please follow me to my studio. After Simon spoke, he turned and walked off. Lily went ahead. The group followed her upstairs. They entered Simon's studio. The studio was pretty large, but still felt cramped. All four walls and most of the space were filled with shelves. There were piles of books all over the floor. Simon sat behind the desk, with messy drafts spread across it, and an old typewriter. I don't get many visitors here, so it's kind of a mess. Hope you don't mind. Simon raised his hand, and 3 chairs appeared across from the desk. Please have a seat. As the lead negotiator, Bai Xiaoyun sat in the middle. He spoke first. Even though Simon was a powerful 5th-generation superhuman, he stayed calm and firm. Mr. Simon, we're here about Satellite Town. I'm sure you know of it. Simon looked like he was searching his memory, and finally seemed to recall. Yeah, I know it. That town is one of my inspirations. Are you planning to destroy it? Yeah, I've prepared a really exciting story for that place. Simon gave an innocent smile. Lin Nianian's face went pale. He couldn't understand how Simon could talk about killing 5,000 people so casually, almost like he was bragging. It made him furious. Bai Xiaoyun's face darkened a bit too, but he didn't react. I stayed calm and just watched Simon silently. In my mind, I was thinking of what Yu Taizhou told me yesterday. Stories are limited narratives, restricted by the author's ability and imagination. And Simon's writing skills are pretty average. Bai Xiaoyun took a deep breath, holding back his feelings. He said seriously, Mr. Simon, I'm a superhuman too. Satellite Town belongs to me. I want you to stop attacking it. Once he said that, Simon seemed a bit caught off guard. Spare Satellite Town? Then what about my promotion? I'm not trying to stop your promotion. I just want to protect Satellite Town. Bai Xiaoyun stayed so calm. Any losses you suffer will compensate for them. Simon just stared at him, stunned. The air got heavy in the room. After about 10 seconds, Simon closed his eyes, shook his head, and said, Sorry, you should go now. Mr. Simon, we have no conflict with you. And this is about 5,000 lives. I hope we can discuss this seriously. Bai Xiaoyun sounded sharper now. But your hypocrisy makes me really uncomfortable. I don't want any more contact with you. Please leave. Simon cut him off. Hypocrisy? Who are you to call us that? Lin Nianian almost laughed from anger at that. Simon glanced at him coldly. Isn't it true? If I spare Satellite Town, then I'll just use people from somewhere else as material for my stories. Is Satellite Town more important or something? Are the people elsewhere more expendable than yours? You might save Satellite Town, but you're causing more deaths somewhere else. Isn't that hypocrisy? You're the one killing them, so why blame us? Lin Nianian suddenly shot up from his seat, angry all over. Simon didn't care at all about Lin Nianian's anger. Miss, you can't blame a disaster or tragedy for ruining your life. I am destiny. I am disaster. I am natural selection. Simon pushed his glasses up, with a warm smile at the corners of his mouth. I kill because fate says so. It is absolutely right. Seeing Lin Nianian starting to lose it, Bai Xiaoyun stepped in to stop her. He stopped her from saying more. Simon glanced at Lin Nianian with a hint of contempt, then waved his hand. If you don't mind, I'd like to get back to work. You may leave now. Bai Xiaoyun looked torn. He didn't know what to do. He was experienced in negotiations. But Simon wasn't someone you could reason with. He was just a twisted fanatic. At that moment, I tapped the table softly, getting everyone's attention. Mr. Simon, when I visited you today, I took some time to read a few of your books. When I said that, Simon suddenly perked up. Which ones did you read? Your most popular ones. Blood Abyss, Catastrophe, Dark Arts, and Bear. So, what did you think? Simon's eyes lit up, clearly expecting some feedback. I looked straight at him, with my hands resting in front of me, and said blandly to me, You really lack the talent to be a writer. Instantly, the mood turned icy. Bai Xiaoyun froze a little.